right. Sledge, you are up, but we'll move to Boric if you want to go ahead and take over, and then you can squeeze him in.
Uh, Bart sends for you a well-dressed, kind of plain armor, but everything is pretty clean on him. He tries to keep things shiny as much as he can. He is a mountain dwarf paladin, and he greets everyone, and he can go through and start telling you stories of previous battles and adventures he had. And if everyone wants to sit and listen to him for the next 10 minutes, they can all gain 21 temporary hit points. Oh, and he's a dwarf that doesn't like ale.
Okay, so I'm sure everybody wants to partake in that rousing words you'll provide. So you can mark those 21, you said? Temp HP for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, and your deeds have preceded you, and so you've received this letter of invitation here. Same for you, Cylindra. And would you like to tell us a little more about yourself?
So, Slender is perpetually out of place. She looks around, just like she's not really certain why she's here, but she's been traveling. She's kind of new to Faerun, and was happy to find a place in Elmwood. And if you look at her half plate, you'll see the city crest of Elmwood on there. She's got a necklace around her neck, because 3 necklaces. And it's got a sunrise made of rose, red, and yellow. And she has a light crossbow that's got 1 bolt loaded into it, but she seems to have no other weapons. Mostly she has her lute out and is strumming that idly. And she's like, hey, my name's Cylindra, and I'm here to help as much as I can. She's kind of tall for a half elf at 6'1", and mechanically she is a level 14 light cleric.
All right. Very valuable addition to the party. As is Lucian, of course. Would you like to tell us about yourself there, Lucian?
Sure, Lucian. You see before you a Onity who is oak, and will say he wasn't always a Wanty. He used to be a drow, but he is so fascinated with snakes, and that he used shadow magic to transform himself into a Wanty. Out of character, I just switch races, but in character, he is a level 15 shadow sorcerer. And that's about him.
All right. Okay, cool. So, Sledge, are you there? You want to come back in for...
No, hello.
Hey.
All right, then. Yeah. So, Sledge is a very tall and muscular brass dragonborn who is also carrying a sledgehammer on his back. He is a level 16 battlemaster fighter. And as for his background, he was found by normal people when he was a baby and raised among the common folk. And his adoptive father, who was a blacksmith, taught him his craft and how to be a good person. And now Sledge is traveling around trying to help everyone in need. There we go.
All right. Very nice. What kind of fighter are you again? My bad, you might have said that just now.
Brass metallic dragonborn from Fizzbones.
Oh, no, what kind of fighter, though?
Battle Master.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. All right.
So, the trap cards are back.
Oh, yeah, I'm ready for them. All right, so the 4 of you have been gathered here by Ramalia, and she continues. Thank you for your introductions there, and it's definitely a privilege, like I said, to have you here. And DM side, everyone can gain inspiration for that. So definitely mark that. And she continues, I'm sure you're wondering why I've called you here today. Some of you have been involved with these dealings slightly, and of Of course, we're all about to be a little bit further. Let me back up a little bit, though, and tell you about my friend here. She's an agent of the Wormskull Throne. Her and I have worked together to discover that the Red Wizards of Thay have been sending shipments of supplies and abducting sailors to a location somewhere in the north. Well, we've enlisted other fine adventurers like yourself, and we followed clue after clue until we ultimately recovered a nameless map of an excavation site. And in doing so, we also discovered that a dangerous cult going by the name of the Tenebrous Creed is trying to gather information there as well. The only thing we know about them really is that they're quite dedicated to an elder evil that's named Father Limic. Going forward, we did get a little more information from digging in Candlekeep, and we learned about this nameless map. This Red Wizard's excavation site is at a mountain in Icewind Dale. Lucian, you're very familiar with this place, is known as Zorventroth. Hopefully you can help guide the few here that are unaware of this a little bit better. As you know, this was an ancient city from Abir, the sister planet of our own. It's all very hazy and confusing, but through some of the cataclysmic events that we're all so very familiar with as we lived through those terrible times, but we're past them now. However, different things have still remained from that time, and Zorventroth is one, an ancient city with inexplicable artifacts that can only be from the Far Realm. Based off of yours and other reports there, Lucian, we know that there's groups of Dragonborn that seem to live there, and well, they seem to be quite advanced. Society of artificers, but perhaps a little too advanced from what we can hear. Things there seem to be a little dark. And so, we would like you to travel back up into the north, into Icewind Dale, meet up at the site of Zorventroth, somehow find some entry while avoiding the Thayan patrols. We fear if we alert them of our presence, then our ultimate goal will be sacrificed. That goal is to create a headquarters there, of sorts. We need to find a desirable location that we can use to keep an eye on the Thayans as they do some sort of excavations there. We've heard they're pulling things out for further study in other places, but there's no telling how horrific these experiments and artifacts that they're recovering could, lay on our land in this day. And so, you have your friends there too. I'll go ahead and say there's the Harper agent sidekicks. Of course, we have that in the chat there, and she says these few will help. They've been briefed. They definitely are going to be able to give you some clues or some help here and there as you see fit. I only ask that you watch their backs as they will watch yours. And I do want to give one warning. It seems as if the Thayans have set up significant defenses to protect their excavation site, and while you are some very powerful and esteemed warriors of your own nature, I would still recommend treading very carefully there and try not to alert the whole base. If they find out we're there, then we're not going to have any sort of headquarters. I have a way for you guys to contact us, and she gives you 2 spell scrolls and a potential way to rejoin us if you can figure out the teleportation situation, because we've learned that Zorventroth's wards have been activated since there was an explosion set off there. She kind of gives a look to Lucian, but there seems to be some additional protection set up by the Thayans for teleportation and plane shifting magic, so entering may be slightly more difficult than it could be. Although, I would like to remind you that by your reports, Lucian, there are the Neogi tunnels underneath that have been used in the past, and while I would imagine these have been dangerously caved in, they could possibly be excavated for a safe, quiet entrance. However, that will be up to you to figure that out, whether you can sneak in or whether you can break in of your own accord. Just be careful of the magical restrictions that may be there, and just be aware of anything that may be hiding in there, lurking, waiting. It seems as if it's all kinds of hidden dark secrets from the far realm there. So, I know that was a lot. Do you have any questions for me before I give you some equipment to get started and send you on your way?
Nope. Thank you.
As far as the traveling back in time, I'm not sure, but some of it's more
Yeah,
referencing to that
it's funny.
the season
But
10.
anyway.
You would have used the tunnels in the season 10 games. But, all right, cool. So she gives you guys each a set of cold weather clothes if you don't have any. The Harper sidekicks at your side kind of have some digging equipment with them, and they also are given a spell scroll of sending so they can report back, and a spell scroll of teleportation circle in case there's some way around the wards that you've been warned of. And it looks like that should be it for now. Tua kind of stands forward, one of the Harpers, and you can see that she's proficient in magic. You recognize a fellow cleric too, of course, Cylindra, and she kind of bows and she offers her services to use any spell scrolls from the cleric and wizard spell list if needed. It's always there to keep that in mind. And alright, I guess if nothing else from anyone, we'll jump past the intro and get into part 1. Alright, so you guys start traveling from Waterdeep up north. And unless you have your own form of travel, Zahira kind of speaks up before you leave, and she says, "There's a boat docked in Waterdeep that can take you all the way to Icewind Dale. It's called the Pursuit. If you have your own form of transportation, feel free, but if you want, you can take my boat."
Thank you for offering that.
No matter to her, as she is one of the top command to the Queen of the Wormskull throne. But the travel to Icewind Dale, especially on this fine ship, is pretty uneventful.
Charlie, I may have a fifth verse if you want me to send him.
Sure, I mean, we
Is that-
can just toss him in real quick, and it's fine.
All right, I'll catch him up on what's on everything that's going on, and I'll just have him join.
Okay, and then tokens and all that stuff we can get set up real quick.
Yeah.
Now, Sledge does have a horse with, like, those horseshoes of a zephyr, and that would allow him to cross the water on his horse.
Alright, you got your own form of transportation there, but it's more just showing off. Everyone watches in amazement as you just jumping and
Pretty much.
splashing around. And don't stray too far from the boat now there.
Of course. I shall take the lead. Like, is it night? Is it day?
So it starts off pretty early in the day, and let's see if it says. I would assume it would be a few days of travel at least, as you're traveling pretty far up to the north. And as you go, it consistently gets colder and colder and colder until you know that you're in Icewind Dale proper, and you enter the Sea of Moving Ice. It's hard to navigate, but for the most part, you don't really have too many issues, and you end up heading down the Shangarn River eventually, upstream towards the Icewind Dale tin town of Bremen. You guys have a map and directions from Remy, and you guys will travel through the tin towns to East Haven, and then continue on east to the mountain that this fabled city Zorventroth lies under. Looks like since one of you has already been there, you don't need any guides or anything like that, and you're able to make it, without having to do any tracking or anything like that. On foot from East Haven, it takes an additional 2 days to traverse the tundra, and 1 more day to travel through the mountainous paths. Eventually, you hit a sloping path that leads up to what's been marked as the excavation site. And it's in the days that you travel, you have to fare with the weather, predatory creatures, and icy terrain. It's a challenge, even for more experienced adventurers or locals and things. But nothing too crazy stops you up. Just the old typical, wolves here and there, or getting lost in a blizzard, or having to avoid an avalanche. But you guys are experts, and you make it through. As that is not the highlight of this adventure. Alright, so we got one more coming in. What's up, Azog?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Alright, you already have the roll too. Cool. Pretty good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. Here, let me switch over my character.
Yeah, so let me know. We are about to jump into the excavation area, I guess you could call it. Has your character played DRW of any kind, I guess?
No, this one hasn't. This one went through most of Storm King's Thunder.
Okay, and then you haven't played any Season 10 either?
I don't think so. I know I played one other thing. I have to double check with him, but I don't think he's played any Season 10 necessarily. No, I think he might actually.
It's either 10-7 or 10-10 that really matter.
Oh, actually, Borg played 10-7 before.
Okay, so Boric, you would be familiar with the Neogi tunnels that were mentioned earlier, and also between you and Lucian, it's pretty easy to locate this spot as you've been here before.
Oh, and he's also played 10-10. I didn't realize Season 10 was part of this.
Yeah, it's more like just a flavoring in a sense, but those of you that did play 10-10, and I guess those of you that didn't, kind of a spoiler alert, but the last time that you were here in Zorventroth, you worked with this very strange hippo-like fellow who kept saying that he was from space and things like that. A very esteemed warrior, it seemed to be, a Gith, and he helped you construct these little bombs and take them to Zorventroth to try to bury this place, as it was full of aberrations and horrors from the far realm, and is pretty much just better off left in ruins. You guys had decided, more or less, and that's where you left it off. Of course, there's been excavations and more things going on here since then, and that's why you're coming in to keep an eye on these Thayans. Dang Thayans. Alright, so you're playing Vawin?
I have to change his name. My bad.
No, it's okay. Just getting some notes down for balancing and stuff real quick. So real quick, I guess, before we move on, what is your name, race, class?
This is going to be Winfin. He is a Haragon Ranger Rogue. I'm a Scout Ranger. And I can't remember what my rogue levels are. Oh.
Winfin, Haragon Ranger Rogue, and then...
He's a Feywander Ranger and Scout Rogue.
And then,
then,
what's the total level?
He is 11.
Okay, cool. Alright, that does... Okay, cool. Alright, let's go, keep going then. Alright.
Sounds good. He is a Harper, too, for purposes and things.
Okay, nice. So you would have definitely been tapped on. Probably already familiar with Remy in Waterdeep. She knows you're an up-and-coming Harper agent and has a pretty important job to test your mettle as well as get a little more use out of your strengths, as it were. And so you've been partnered up with some pretty beefy-looking fellows and one very beautiful woman. So it looks like your skills here will be very well put to use. That being
Right.
said,
Sounds good.
as you guys travel through the 10 towns, you don't really hear a lot of mention, as you kind of course, you always try to get the local gossip and stuff. You don't really hear any mention of the Red Wizards' operations, and it seems as if they've never really revealed themselves to anyone in the area. However, you do get a tip that there are occasional dog sled caravans seen traveling from different 10 towns to Zorventroth area, bringing like regular supplies from what's been mentioned. Just things you live off of, you could say, fish and oil and lumber and the such. And even as you guys had travel down, there's a couple times where you would either come up on one or have one come pass you up. And at this point in time, you're trying to lay low and things like that. So, for the sake of it all, the Harpers would be like, someone's coming up, let's hide out and take a look at him. And you'd see, sure enough, one of these. It seems pretty very regular, a couple just regular people in some caravans, but they're definitely heading in the same direction that you are, periodically as you go along. And once you do finally hit the sloping path, it leads over 1,000 feet up the mountain. You'd be huffing and puffing at this point. And as you do, the Harper sidekicks there come up and they're saying, I don't know what your guys' plan was for this, but I would recommend us using stealth first just to kind of observe the situation. But you let us know what to do and we'll do it. As you guys come out, it's around midday now, and you are on a wide ledge. It's in front of a large excavated tunnel into a partially collapsed mountain. And as you gaze down, hidden at the start, just for a quick look, you see it's guarded by giant constructs and heavily clothed humanoids. Behind them, a large iron slab blocks your view, yet the unmistakable sound of mining can be faintly heard. It's pretty obvious just off the bat that you might be a bit outnumbered in this present situation, from what you could see. But you guys are able to kind of approach it in any way you see fit. And again, the Harper agents kind of stress to you that we're only going to get one attempt to get past these guards without alerting the Thayans. We should definitely form a plan. I don't know what you guys have in mind, but also, they don't really have to say anything, but those of you that played the Season 10 modules, you're very aware of the tunnels, too. If you want to kind of take a look at those tunnels, you could most certainly do so. So you can, as you see a couple huge iron constructs, and then a few, like I said, a few people and stuff, too, and it definitely sounds like there's a lot more going on just beyond your field of view. So what do you guys think?
Hey, rabbit person. I have heard that you're a ranger, yes? So, do you not have any tricks to help us with stealthing by?
I mean, I can try. I'm a bit more of a rogue scout. Scouting's mostly what I do, but I can 100% get scout ahead. See if I can sneak up ahead and find us a safer path or something.
I was asking for pass without trace, but okay.
Yeah, I don't have that. He's not quite high enough. I'm actually only 3 levels of ranger. He's more rogue.
All right. Well, if you're gonna go ahead and would rather not leave you alone. I can go with you. Despite how I look like, I'm actually quite stealthy myself.
Wonderful. Someone that watches my back is always very helpful.
So,
as you guys kind of discuss that, one of the Harpers kind of speaks up. He's like, well, maybe it'd be a good idea to kind of form a little camp here and kind of see what we might see in a day before we go storming the castle, as it were. But if you guys are if you're eager to get started, though, we're just as ready as you are.
It makes sense to be a little prudent and do some observation to see the best tactic.
All right, so What do you think there, Lucian?
I said, sure, let's go look and do some recon.
Okay, cool. So you guys kind of find a nice place to bury in at the edge on this ridge, making sure you won't be seen by anyone else coming the way. Not too hard to do as the night approaches, and you see kind of the threatening hint of a blizzard impending in the distance. And throughout your night here, it's cold. That's the first thing you notice, of course. It's every second out here is just freezing, and you're bundled up as warm as you can possibly be, but those that are just more susceptible to it, you find yourself just shivering as you kind of do your best to keep a watch. And you see, of course, the specific time that these caravans are approaching seem to be on a pattern, and as you watch, you kind of recognize the process of how that goes, and they seem to roll up. The caravan rolls up towards the entrance of the tunnel as it checks in, and then it seems to disappear inside. As far as what happens after, you're not sure, but then almost like clockwork, at a certain time later on, the same caravan comes out, presumably empty, as it comes passing on back by your hiding place again and off into the night. Its job completed, as it were. And you can see that there's some shifts being taken every so often, that these clearly Thayans will be switched out. Of course, their iron golems that they have there are tireless. They always stand guard waiting, but the people seem to switch out pretty regularly. You can kind of mark that time, I suppose, if that's something you want to use. And then I guess let's, for fun, how about Winfin, since you dropped in here? We'll go ahead and roll me just roll me a d10.
3.
All right, so as you guys wake up the next day, the frigid and windy weather takes a little bit of a turn for the worse, and I guess we'll follow up with Boric. Why don't you roll me 2d4? Okay, so you can see it's going to last a few hours as this blizzard kind of just swamps over the entrance here. It limits your visibility to 30 feet, pretty strong winds blowing in. Unless anybody has goggles or other eye protection, they'll have disadvantage on perception with sight. You have your cold weather gear, which does provide eye protection, so as long as you're wearing that, you're fine on that. But so that could be an added thing to help or hinder you, I suppose, as a blizzard kind of rolls through. Let me see if there's any... Just for a little more background, this ledge is 60 feet long and it juts out about 30 feet from the mountain that you're on. Down below, the tunnel is around 15 feet wide, 15 feet tall, and seems to run on into the mountain more than you can see. Kind of getting down from the ledge should be about 20 feet of difficult terrain. And yeah, I guess that's pretty good background there. And so, yep, what do you guys want to do?
Does anyone have any ideas how I get pass into here? Looks like you either come in through a caravan or someone said something about Nyogi tunnels.
Yeah, we could try to maybe sneak into one of the caravans, but a lot of us are more frontliners, so we probably don't sneak around very, very quietly.
Well, we don't have to sneak. We just have to join one of the caravans, right? Like, just be guards or something, and we get free passage.
I could polymorph people and then have them sneak in.
Do the caravans look like they have guards on them, or is it just a driver with equipment in the back?
That's a great question, since you asked. You can see that there seem to be 2 drivers and 4 sled dogs. And I'm not sure if anybody would be hiding out in the caravans, but they seem to be mostly cargo. little more than commoners for you folk, but that's about what you do on that. Okay, so
Well, I can go try and talk. You sneak down there and try and talk to one of these caravan leaders and see if he's willing to let us guard his land, guard his caravan in there. To get us in there. I can sneak in pretty good, but I mean, we do have some people with more armor that'd be struggling a little bit more.
So we'll just get a majority decision, I guess, on the next path.
I agree. Let's try to talk to one of the caravans. They may, I don't know if we can trust them, and they may be hostile, so we just have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, someone's a bard, right? I believe.
We do not have a bard.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
I think you're the sorcerer, so you might be
I am, yes.
charismatic of the bunch, maybe. I don't know.
Yep, I am plus 10. I didn't talk. Apologies.
I am also a plus 10 proficient.
Yay.
So if you guys work together, you could essentially help, whoever wants to take the role, and then you could take the advantage if you're both proficient and working together on that. But you guys can hang back, go back from the valley slightly so no one's noticing or hearing anything there, and kind of hide out on the side of the road. The ones that don't want to participate because of sound or whatever, you can kind of bunker down, and you don't really have to roll stealth as long as you don't plan on bursting out suddenly or whatever. You just got to let the other two take the lead on it, and then of course if you need to kill some commoners, of course you can rush out. But at least for the start here, you see a caravan come up, and like I said, seems to be pretty heavily loaded, but with 4 dogs and 2 men. Kind of how do you guys approach, you two?
Winfin, he's kind of he's bundled up because he spent a lot of time in this northern part of the world. So he's bundled up, sitting there. As they approach, he will kind of wave them closer, being like, good gentlemen. Are you in need of an escort? There seems to be some wild things in this area. I'm rather skilled in survival and helping you navigate. If you are in need of assistance, I and my colleagues here will be happy to help you.
All right, go ahead and roll me just a straight persuasion, because it would be with disadvantage, but he's helping you out, so just a straight persuasion there, or deception, I guess, if that's your thing.
Nice.
So you could see that you hit the nail on the head with these guys, because one dude's kind of clutching a bandage on his arm that's seems like it's kind of still trying to staunch the bleeding, even though a lot of the blood is still kind of dried and crusted as if it's been a few hours. He's pretty wounded, and the other guy has a scared look in his eyes, and he's like, man, these trips are always a danger. We never know what we might face, and those Yetis came out of nowhere. I mean, they wanted our cargo bad, but we barely made it out, and man, I knew the Thayans would probably do worse to us if we didn't make it out with the cargo, but I mean, who are you people? I mean, we don't really see anyone this close to the drop-off point.
I'm Winfin. I like the cold. I just kind of wander around looking for things. Found these guys, leading them around.
Well, I think we just need to come up over this rise now. Suppose I don't see any harm in you leading the way for us. We gotta hurry up and get this drop off done and get back to East Haven so I can get Jim here to the clerics there. He's pretty hurt.
Really? Well, we can help with that. Yeah, we can help make sure you guys stay safe. Need a ride. Get more information.
These Thayans are a little buggy from what we can tell. We're desperate, man. I'll tell you everything I know about them, but it's not much. We just come in and drop off and go. I don't know what you guys are looking out for here, but there's weird things happening, and who am I to question? I'm just taking a job. So if you could just help us get back safely, then we'll do whatever you need us to do. And you can see this is just a regular guy. He's definitely not a Thayan or anything. He's like who had been hired on from, the 10 towns at some point. I'm a little in over my head here. I really realize that now.
Oh yeah, don't worry, we can protect you. Just offhand, how many Indians would you say there are? Are there do their numbers change at certain times throughout the day? Is there any?
They're pretty secretive there. We don't get to see too much after we enter, but they have those giant hulking beasts under their control, and there seems to be a few of them, quite a lot, and those damned things are always using their magic and stuff. I don't know, it's a bit over my head, but there seems to be a lot of those folks in red, and they even have a lot of people under their command too. It's nobody I recognize. I would assume they took them from somewhere else, but there's a lot of slaves they're using in there to do some digging or something. I don't know. We don't take anything. We're not allowed to know too much. But I just have the regular old drop-offs here, some honey, some mead. Had to stop off in Honey Mead on the way here. But if you guys want to, I'm trying to think. There's 5 of you, and I guess it's kind of how you want to approach the situation. You have 2 guys riding on the front, and then you could fit a few in.
Well, are the rest of us back there, or is it still just those 2 talking?
As of now, it would just been those 2 talking. He's like, so it's just the 2 of you, right? Well, what do you want to hop on in and just take a ride with us real quick, and then we could probably pass you off as some bodyguards for us. That's nothing too extreme if it's just a couple of y'all.
We have a couple more. Just 1 or 2, 3.
He kind of raises an eyebrow, and he's like, well, I have a lot of cargo in there. I don't know how many we could fit, and I'll be honest, if we show up with too many, they're going to start asking some questions. I got to get this drop-off done to get our pay, or else we're going to starve this winter. Like I said, however I can help you, I will, but I need to get paid too. I don't want to arouse too much suspicion with those guys. They're, like I said, they're a bit jumpy. I've heard some weird stories of what they'll do.
Let's see, I would just do invisibility on some of us. Yeah. But we have I can turn the frontliners. That lasts for how long? 2 an hour, yeah. I can turn 2 people invisible using a 3rd level spell.
So you can get
that sound good?
other 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Bork wouldn't mind that.
Okay, I will do that. So then we sledge and then instead of following. Do you want to be invisible sledge or no?
Who is without? Because Sledge is confident in his stealth rolls, so you could give it to the other person.
Okay, then Robin and then Fort. Then yeah, that works.
Yeah, or Cylindria, because it's actually Windpen. I pulled up the wrong token, but Windpen is pretty good at stealth. He can sneak his way up in there.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Wait, so I just want to open this incorrect. Okay, no worries. And whoever wants it can have it. Okay. Sorry, I missed. That works. and it only looked like 3 people and not 5.
Perfect.
Again, I
Right.
can walk in front to kind of like make it look like I'm actually like a guide.
Okay, and so this fellow too, he kind of takes a couple of these brooches out, and you can see he has one kind of fastened to his lapel as well. And he's like, "This marks us as part of the crew here. If any of you aren't I don't know what you guys are up to. As long as you don't get us thrown out of here, or even worse, killed or enslaved like some of those people we've seen, we'll kind of follow your lead. And I could give you guys these. This is kind of marks a one of the Thayan convoy people. And if it looks like some of you are planning on being hidden, but if you're not, this might help you."
Cylinder would rather have a badge than be invisible, so she'll take a badge.
Okay. And then whoever wants to could ride in the caravan to some degree. It's a pretty large caravan by like normal standards, but it is full of cargo. So let's see we'll take it one by one here. So we have, you said Cylindra will take the badge, but are you going to be in the caravan or no?
I'll be walking alongside it, and the person that's injured, I'm going to hand them a potion of healing and let them take that.
He kind of lets out a soft groan and like sips it down, and over the next few minutes you can see color kind of start to return to his pale skin, as he's going to need some more attention later on, and mostly just some rest, but for now he feels better, and he gives you like a grateful look in his eyes, as he's very weak.
Does he seem exhausted, or
Does he seem what?
does he seem like he's exhausted, or?
Yeah, you could say he's got a couple levels of exhaustion just from a loss of blood, but as far as everything goes, he just probably needs some rest now. So he's kind of just sits back there, and he's like, "Oh, that's a good idea. They probably would be wanting to know what happened to him, and that'd be a lot more cause for explaining. But they'll probably leave us alone now that he's, not looking like he's dying there. Thank you."
All right. Well, no problems.
That's my brother-in-law. I took him on this trip, and I'd feel awful if anything happened to him.
If he needs any more attention, just shout. I can help out.
Okay, and then so I guess let's keep it going with Winfin. You are stealthing?
Yeah, he was gonna like go like he's leading them through the path, like kind of be like right in front of their like wagons and like that, and that way he's like looking for the paths and stuff like that.
Lucian is also stealthing.
I guess Sledge will go with Lucian. I'm gonna make my roll. And I'm going to use the ambush maneuver to increase it slightly, because I'd rather be safe than sorry. So that 16 will turn into a 18. Well,
Okay, and Boric, so we have 3 stealthing. Boric, how about you?
Can I be hiding inside with the equipment?
Okay, so you'll be the one in the cart with the cargo. Cylindra's with the drivers, more or less. The other 3 are kind of stealthing around and underneath as best as they can. And then you also cast invisibility.
Yeah, so Bork is invisible.
Okay. All right. So we got a plan together. The sidekicks, they'll follow your lead, and they'll maybe one of them is in there with Boric. A couple of the other 2 are trying to stealth around the area as well, and I'll just give them 1 check for the lot of them really if it comes up. But okay. So you guys are somewhat disguised, somewhat stealthing as you approach with the caravan, and sure enough, they go to check, and they check in with the driver there. They exchange some words. You can hear kind of just some identification and some numbers being distributed there before they eventually kind of turn towards Cylindra. They say, "Well, they don't usually send a an extra driver. What's your deal? And then if you want, you're disguised more or less as one of these people, and so you can do a deception or a charisma check.
So Slender's going to say, yeah, this is kind of a family operation, you know, the brother-in-laws and everything. I'm being brought on as a trainee because you guys are asking for more supplies than we can handle. So I'm just I'm learning the route.
Okay, so that could be deception or persuasion, I suppose. With that, probably deception. Maybe it'd be best.
Oh, I was going to go persuasion.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and so you nailed it on the head. As he kind of says, "Well, we are so busy here. We need all the supplies we can get. Suppose you're onto something there. Although I'll make a note of this, and they should probably let us know ahead of time. But, well, guess the only other thing we need to do is give you the password and check your cargo there. Of course, we'll escort you further into the tunnel as well." And he kind of motions off, and another soldier of sorts there for the Thayans kind of starts to walk up to the cargo. One thing I do want to say. Okay, so as you are not quite in the tunnel yet, you're at the mouth of it, and he peeks his head in, and he doesn't see anything other than the cargo because they're invisible inside. And then as far as your guys' stealth checks,
Pin lowest.
is what, 26, 18, 30, 15? Or no, that's not. That's a persuasion, my bad. All right, yeah, you guys are all able to kind of hide underneath or around as you need to, and they do not locate you as you go through. He kind of pulls his head back up from the burlap flaps, and he says, "Well, nothing seems to be out of order. There's a lot of body heat coming from this area, though. I'm not sure what's up with that, but I don't really see anything, so I must. Who knows? Maybe I'm just having a hot heat flash. Anyways, I'm talking too much. You guys are able to go through. The password up ahead is vineyard, I guess. Tomato, potato, whatever. But so he gives you a password up ahead, and he says, "Well, we'll go ahead and escort you through." And one of the guards kind of flanks you on either side, and they start moving you in through the tunnel. Almost immediately as you pass into the tunnel, Boric and the sidekick there, as well as the one who cast the spell, of course, you notice that you enter an anti-magic field, and that invisibility spell immediately fails. However, you are hidden in the caravan, so that is still okay. So you guys came up with a pretty well-crafted plan here, all in all. As you motion forward, you are flanked by some guards, of course, and they take you on. You eventually stop, Boric, you kind of have like a hush there for a moment as you're wondering what's going on. You hear the murmuring of words. While Cylindra, you see the driver kind of murmur vineyard, and a hidden symbol there, could only be some sort of trap, is deactivated, and you guys roll on through. Just making sure I'm not missing anything on this part. As you guys did, between the few things you did there, that's pretty smart. Making sure it's... I think we may just jump to the next part here, but I'm just double checking so I don't skip over anything. Okay, so as you guys enter in, you're able to slip out and ditch the caravan as needed. You kind of you have to wait for the perfect time as they're going through all the checks and balances, and then right before they would start to unload the cargo, you guys can kind of stealth off into the depths here, as it's pretty well lit as you enter what's clearly being a tunnel excavated into the mountain. But with the right timing and a little help from your driver, you can kind of slip off. No one really detected you, so there's not any suspicion towards you guys whatsoever right now. And real quick just for Boric, since you're riding in there, it takes, we could say, a couple hours for the whole process, as you have to wait for like certain, specific things to line up to be able to get in the place, and then also to leave the caravan behind. The driver seems grateful for y'all's help, and he's gonna do his normal thing, just drop off his stuff and get the heck out of there. That being said, Boric, real quick, if you could make me a Constitution save, as you're stuffed in a pretty uncomfortable ride along the way, and with the 12, you will take 1 level of exhaustion.
All right.
And so after that, you guys find yourselves in the.
Question.
Go ahead.
Since it took like a couple hours, can we get the benefits of a short rest?
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, my 1 superiority die is back.
Not everybody. It was just Boric because he was riding in the caravan. So, honestly, a pretty good plan there. That could have evolved into a combat, or y'all could have had to go down and break your way in through the tunnels, which would have taken some time and could have potentially alerted the people here. And so you've negated all that. Pretty smart. Good use of invisibility and also stealth. And you guys find yourself in the Lost Again city of Zorventroth. Of course, those that played Into Darkness or Bearing the Past from Season 10 have been here before and totally recognize this place. But now you're being required to travel to a more distant part of the city, past where the Red Wizards are occupying. And you have some notes, of course, from Remy and Zahira, offering directions as to where you should seek out a potential headquarters for them. So you're looking for a building or set of buildings that offers a good place to hide, but could also be used to spy on, the goings-on here. And you kind of assess this situation, and you see that this green stone city ruins stretch for miles, covered in places by rock and ice. You can see and hear the lights and sounds from the Red Wizards encampment near the entrance, as well as another one near the center of the city. And as you kind of observe, you could see little bobs of torchlight kind of dancing around the city, what could only be torches from like patrols. So you'll have to kind of keep a lookout for those here and there. And you'll end up coming out of the anti-magic field. You can see that this was something rigged up for the tunnel as part of kind of like a defense by the Thayans. And as you come out, no more anti-magic field in this place. Although there's going to be much, much worse. But the city is miles in diameter, and the structures here are made from a strange green stone. It's translucent, but seems kind of fragile in the material, but the texture and the strength of it really appears to be glass with varying thickness. And the buildings are kind of spindly and overwrought and delicate arcs, like waves frozen in motion. It looks like a fifth or more of the city has been pretty damaged, and there's small areas of difficult terrain here and there that you'll have to kind of push through. Most of this rubble in the streets has been cleared already by the Thayans, but you'll still come across some rock and ice covering the passageways as you make your way around the ruined city here. So it gets to be pretty dark here, but again, you just see those pinpricks of light kind of across the city, and they kind of shine weirdly in this green dome that seems to encircle the city as well. Reminds you of eyes opening for a few moments and blinking back shut. It's really just a reflection from the city, but it just seems odd and strange as this weird ward is kind of hanging over you. It's ominously silent for the most part. Otherwise, you hear the kind of crunching of your own footfalls, or the tinking from the encampments as you move your way forward. You start picking your way through the rubble, and you start just coming across very weird and odd objects. And how about everybody rolls me a D8, and we'll see what you might kind of come across as you start to look for some of these buildings that you've been indicated. And as we do that, I'm going to bump you guys over to a different map. And I'll admit the map situation in this module was a little weird, but as long as you bear with me, you guys are somewhere here in this city, and you can see that some lettered locations of W, X, Y, and Z. Those would have been marked on your little notes there from the Harpers. So you could see some kind of indications of where you need to go in the city. Let me see. Did I drag you over? Yeah, I did. Okay. And then as far as the D8, let's go through real quick. This is just for fun, more or less. But I guess you could consider these like trinkets if you want. But there's just strange alien devices that you kind of come across as you're picking your way, to decide on where to go first. And Cylindra, you come across a coil of copper wire wrapped around a metal rod with an upside-down bell at one end and 2 prongs at the other. Some of these are going to be hard to understand what they do in ways, if anything, by our comprehension, but that's what you find. And Boric, you come across a blank book made of thin sheets of the same glassy green stone the city is made of. On the cover of it is a dragonborn with faceted eyes, and it's embossed. So it seems to be pretty much empty, though. And yeah, Cylindra found like a computer cable, probably. Winfin, you find a thin box embedded with pieces of colored glass and a dozen buttons. It easily fits in one hand, but has no real discernible function. Maybe a remote or something? I'm not sure. But Lucian, on the other hand, you find a green glass statuette of a dragonborn woman in robes. However, where her head should be instead is a tentacle. There's also a place to insert some sort of crystal in the rear end of it. I'm not sure why they put it there, but the statuette seems to have no real obvious function as well. And Sledge, of course. You find a fist-sized metal orb with 3 jagged blades fixed to one side. It vibrates with a soft humming when touched. I was like, is this like a face razor or something? I'm not sure. But yeah, so you find these like kind of strange devices as you're picking your way through these ruins, more towards the locations you've been indicated, kind of wondering what the heck was going on in this place. And as you're curious, you see the walls and buildings here. Of course, some of you have already seen this before, but it's still just shocking to witness again. You're almost having flashbacks of like horror from the first time you were in here, some of the things you had to deal with and see. And you see some familiar murals kind of etched in bold grooves, forming pictures in the walls and buildings. They mostly seem to be depicting the city and its inhabitants, usually dragonborn in dramatic poses wearing robes. Sometimes they'll change in subtle ways when it just seems to be out of the corner of your eye. You kind of even try to think of memorizing some of them as you pick your way through the city, but when you find yourself returning to a certain area again, it seems to be slightly different, or almost like the landscape itself is trying to confuse you. Anyone with a passive of 15 or higher, which looks like not Lucian. What's your passive, Sledge?
It would be 17.
So Lucian, you're kind of lost in the sauce as you're moving throughout here, but the other 4, you notice that you start to catch glimpses of things moving at the edge of your vision. It always kind of proves to be something inanimate, or perhaps a shadow, or some other misunderstanding, you think, but you feel a weird feeling kind of creep into you as you go. And
now, I would like to... Because I have this service award that has, like... It detects fake creatures. So I wonder if it's activated now?
Not at the moment, no.
Okay.
And just one last thing before you guys kind of find a meeting point. Yeah.
Okay, so it's activated at all times and wouldn't help me.
Your sixth sense is pinging.
Yep.
All right, so you kind of start picking your way through the city, and you find yourself at the edge, and you take a look at this odd green stone or glass, as it were, that kind of seems to be a ward over the city. And as you look for a quick moment, you feel something, each of you kind of touch your mind in a pretty bad way, as a vision kind of overtakes. And again, if you do feel something or not, we'll have everybody roll a d10. And then we'll see. then we'll do some exploration. So we got so sledge with the 4. The green glass in front of you starts to shimmer and ripple like it's water in a breeze. And just as you reach out and touch it, it kind of stops and just seems as kind of unrelenting as ever. Winthin, your vision blurs green for a moment, and you start to wonder to yourself as you get lost if you ever knew a time before this Viridian dream, before the darkness closed in. And just as everything starts to dim and darken, and you feel like a sense of peace as well as despair, you blink your eyes and you're back there with your few comrades there in front of this strange, translucent green glass. Moving forward to Lucian, you kind of witnessing your friends shudder as a thought comes into your head, and you feel like you just muttered a word out of your own mouth, but then you think to yourself, and did I just mutter an incomprehensible word in deep speech? Surely not. And yet you have this wiggling thing, and that you just spoke some strange foreign word that you may not even understand, and it just leaves you with a weird and kind of nagging feeling. Boric, you catch sight of your reflection in the green stone, and for a moment you see your face age, incredibly old, and your teeth turn to needle-like points. It almost seems to sneer back at you for a moment as you close your eyes and shake the vision from your mind. And last but certainly not least is dearest Cylindra. You look into this glass, and all of a sudden you see faint and frozen draconic features staring at you. It seems to be etched with pain as it almost cries for your help in a way, and then as quick as it was there, it's gone, and you're all kind of left with these revelations. As if you want to talk or share amongst what you just experienced, because each of you is pretty individual, and then we'll move forward.
Cylinder tells Sludge that she's seen his future and it's not good. Be careful.
Right.
Bork makes a mental note to keep brushing his teeth at night.
Winfin will remark that he should really stop eating mushrooms before adventures.
Why does this always happen? Okay, and as you guys start to move in a moment, we will have you decide on which area to go to first, and I'll give you a little more information. But just to kick it off, you guys kind of approach a patrol heading towards you. You can see from the distance, seems to be a couple of those golems, and a couple more like martial types, and kind of a leader who can only be identified as a red wizard by his robes and tattoos and bald head. So if you guys want to avoid these folks, you can make me a group check for stealth.
Sheesh.
Of course, if some of you have to have the disadvantage for armor or something, make sure to let us know. Or I see a couple of you got it marked on there. So this is a group check. I'll be frank, it's DC 16 group check. So let's see. We had a 14 from Lucian. So fail, save, fail, save. So essentially, you guys try to evade. What's up?
How long has passed? Wait a minute. I still run away. I'm sorry. Or visible anymore. Never mind. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay in the end, because you get another stab at it in a sense, because you guys, with the baiting of your Harper sidekicks, you kind of dive into some rubble around, and just as you think you're hidden, one little rock kind of falls off from the top, and clink, clack, clack, clack. You say, hey, who's over there? And they kind of go to like start poking around like some Metal Gear Solid stuff. And you realize, though, if you're quiet enough, they may not locate you. So we'll have one more stealth check. This will be another group check, same thing, same everything. They don't automatically lock on to where you're at, but they're kind of curious now.
DM?
Uh-huh.
If I would have succeeded the original check, would I have been fine?
You would have succeeded on the original check?
If I would have, we'd be fine right now. And just do a D20 sorcery points and do magical guidance.
Well,
You
I
let
think
me.
that has to be called earlier.
Yeah, we did already kind of
No.
move on to the next
Oh,
roll.
fair
So
enough. No,
that,
just always do it this time. This time fails. I'm sorry.
okay, no worries. So we had a 17, a 19,
Oh, much
Oh.
better.
an 8, and an 8. And then what is for... Oh, okay, so 3 out of 5 that time works. Good job, y'all. So everyone kind of like sucks in their breath, and it remains as perfectly still as possible. You look over, and one of the sidekicks pulls out a potato chip from his pocket, and just as he's about to put it in his mouth and crunch down, Lucian, you put a hand on his arm and just shake your head like, not now. And it takes a little bit of, a few more minutes, but eventually the Red Wizard kind of calls his guard back over, and he's like, it's just must be some of those damn aberrations hiding from us. Probably some abominations or something, but nothing to report. We should get back to our patrol and just watch your backs. And they kind of wander back off into the gloom as you avoided that one. Pretty good. That was a close one, too. All right, and so you guys make your way through this city coated in a layer of dense, slick permafrost and infused with the far realm's malice. I guess everyone make me a quick con save, as you've been in here for a little bit now.
Anyone within my aura would be +5.
Which can be, everyone can get the +5 then, it's fine, if you want to do that.
Oh man.
So Winfin is a 12. So you all feel yourself... It's like a sinister chill starts to kind of like sink into your bodies in some ways, but it looks like with the help of your pally there, everybody is able to shirk it off and kind of bundle up a little tighter and try to keep a happy memory in mind and make it through this ordeal. No exhaustion or anything. And now it's time to start checking these buildings out. The Harpers are like, well, we know a little bit about each one. It seems like there's this triangular building up yonder, and that's the W. Looks like it's a pretty big one to check out, but could be something there. We're looking for something that can get a good view of the whole city, but also be kind of hard to detect from the Thayans themselves. So perhaps they just start pointing off the kind of the different sites here, and for the most part, you guys can kind of check whichever one you want. I'll just tell you the names of them, which might kind of nod you in a direction or other, but as far as what they contain, you'll just have to make a decision and go. But the W is called the Corrupted College. It's about a triangular building, about 3 stories tall. The X up there in the top, I know that one's a little hard to see, but that seems to be a hospital of sorts, perhaps. In ancient times, of course, but it's a 700-foot tall building. Seems to be a couple of buildings attached to it too, that make up a main building and a couple towers that need to be investigated there. There's the Y, which seems to be a strange hall. Not much known about this place, but I think perhaps there was some experiments done here and things like that, from what's been pulled out of it, I guess. And then last but certainly not least is what could only be an ancient domicile, pretty fancy one at that, what we would call a mansion in our days, but it's 4 large buildings forming a large home atop a hill. Seems as if this would probably have the best sight lines, but not sure what it might contain or how useful it'll be in the end. So you guys can pick any one of those, and as you guys are starting to work that over, one of your Harper sidekicks speaks up and says, well, I think it'd be best for us to explore each one and then make a decision on which one is the best. But again, we're totally following your lead.
I'd say just start from the bottom and work our way up.
So we can go with majority vote in the end. I think it looks like most heading over to Z, in fact. Okay. Doing Z first by a majority. And again, yeah, this seems to be the obvious choice by the tall building on the hill. Seems to be good sight lines, things like that. So you pick your way to the mansion, kind of still processing the things you found and seen here in just your short time. You come across this joint of hexagonal buildings. You make your way inside, and debris kind of clutters the rooms. The ceiling above you is mostly damaged in parts, and the rooms are kind of laid out in a bit of a circle. It's a 2-story building, and it has a central tower rising like 50 feet above the roof. You kind of come across frost-covered paintings and stone furnishings decorating an abode very reminiscent of a noble's mansion, as you might know it. And I guess probably should have said this before, my bad. But as you come across the door, though, it is locked. You can get in. You peered through some of the rubble in the walls to see what was inside, but you feel like to get inside yourselves, you're going to have to figure out that locked door. And then everyone, real quick, we'll just go passive perception to make it a little quicker. So, again, everybody but Lucian, you can see some footprints that kind of go in and out of a back door there, but it is also locked.
Mark says, "Oh, I have thieves' tools and can use them, but there might be people better than me with them."
So do I, Sledge says as he pulls out his hammer.
Nice.
But I think you should try the finesse first.
All right, Bork will try the thieves' tools.
Okay, and this is on the... Alright, on the locked door, let's see what you got.
I said I could try.
You can see this is just an ancient lock. It's hard to work and identify as in the way that you would know it. And unfortunately, you can't really figure it out too much there. Someone else could take an attempt. And of course, it seemed like Sledge was onto something with his sledgehammer.
Before the large hammer goes to the door, Winpen will hop over there and take a look at it and attempt to do a Thief's Tools check as well.
And Bork will try to help him, saying, "Okay, well, I know this is not the way to do it."
So we'll keep it as just like everyone gets a stab, and so no help on since you took an attempt. So we'll see though. So still you struggle with it. It seems to be a pretty difficult lock there. You're trying to make your way in to see. You can't really hear much coming from inside, but clearly someone has been going in and out of here. But you're not sure exactly how to get in yet.
How sturdy are those doors looking?
Sorry.
One more time then, Sledge, what'd you say?
How sturdy are those doors looking?
It seems to be like it's going to take you a nice little athletics check to bash it open. Or you're forcing it open, more or less. You don't have to aggressively do it, but however you want to do it, you can bust it on down.
Anyone proficient in athletics to help me out?
Bork's like, I am.
Think you burned your attempt on this one, though. Right, Tally?
Yeah. He's like, damn it.
Here goes nothing.
Nice. So yeah, you kind of you might use your weapon, you might use your fingers, however you can jam into this kind of crack in the door, and your friends see your muscles bulging as you just force this door open, determined to see who or what may be in here. And once you go in, of course, you get a better look at some of these artwork and things like that. Seems as if mostly depicting scenes of Zorventroth when the Dragonborn were here. They show majestic views of the city from high vantage points, like the one you're at now. And others are just straight-up profiles of the greenstone buildings within the city, while others look like family portraits of these brown-scaled Dragonborn taken inside this very own building. One thing to note, though, as you're looking at all these, is that the sun in these images is blue, and you're able to clearly see that the location that this was on, at least in this time, was not on this planet. It was not on Toril. All right, so you're able to force your way in, which is good, and there's a couple things you come across as you kind of search through and kind of see some of the things that I had already described. You come across a woman. She seems to be a human and I kind of clearly identifiable as a former sailor who's been taken in as a slave of these people. And when she sees you, she kind of looks up at you with meek eyes. You would hardly even notice she was there until you're right upon her in this kind of gloomy ruin. But she looks up and she says, please don't hurt me. She's a short... I'm sorry, but she's a short, young human woman. Her skin is pretty tanned from the sea sun. She has brown eyes, and her shaven head is starting to get a little bristly, as she hasn't had time to keep that up as of late. But go ahead, sorry to interrupt.
You're awful short to be a red wizard.
She kind of like curses a sailor's curse and spits into the floor. I would never willingly work with these horrible people. They took us from my ship, the Drag Or, and brought us here to work in the excavations. And she kind of coughs. And some of the, let's say, Cylindra, you're able to see just off of your cleric abilities and how worn down this woman is, that she clearly is suffering from some exhaustion.
Where's the rest of your crew?
I escaped. We were all taken, and some of us were led to one area, some of us in the other. I don't know if I'm the only one who's made it out or not, but I escaped, and I fled deeper into the city. All I've had to eat is ice, and it's been so cold.
Slender will give her some rations, and how... Slender will give her some rations and a blanket. Looks like I have. Yes.
She takes the food and just gobbles it up instantly, and kind of wraps herself in the blanket. You can see her cold weather gear has been tattered and worn, and as she kind of regains some strength, she says, I was forced to help dig out some of these buildings, and her eyes kind of glaze over for a minute as you recognize those same twisted feelings in her that you felt while you were here. There's these strange green crystals the Thayans are using. They don't seem to be from this world, but they'll jab them into dead creatures, strange abominations, and a weird glowing light seems to be infused in those objects.
That is very strange. Do you know what the purposes are, or they're just reanimating dead with crystals? Yeah, I have 2 rations and a blanket that I've taken off my character sheet, so she can have those.
Okay.
And you said she's suffering from exhaustion as well?
Yeah, she has 3 levels of exhaustion.
I'll deal with one of them.
Thank you. That'll help me make it out of here. I just need to escape and return home. I'm not sure if I can trust you guys, but you're being nice enough so far, and I really have no other option.
I will take the badge that I've got from the caravan and give that to her and tell her about the caravan and how she can join up with them as they leave.
Okay, I know those caravans seem to work like clockwork. At the time you've indicated, I could try to make it there. And she looks at Cylindra and she's, if only I could disguise myself as you. They've already seen you and talked with you from what you're saying, but I'll do the best I can. And
just tell them you got a haircut while you're in town here.
It's not the strangest thing that's happened to people here, I suppose. She's with the plan, and she's grateful for the help and for helping her too. She kind of comes back to say, look, I didn't really fully search this place, but it seems like there's little secret compartments kind of hidden in different rooms and things like that. I did kind of find these statues and art. It looks like it could be worth some gold. I mean, I'm in no position to be getting it out of here myself, but people as capable as you might be able to do so, as well as find some things that I may not have found. But with that, I think I better get to that caravan before it gets out of here. Or, I can come with you guys too. You seem to be pretty strong, and if you could, I don't know, if you think it's best with the caravan, I'll do that. Or I could just you could escort me yourselves. I don't want to be a burden, but
I was afraid, as tired as you are, you would slow us down. Because 2 levels exhaustion still have speed, right?
She says, I understand. I want to be helpful in any way I can, and perhaps you're right. Maybe not getting in the way is the best way. But
you said you helped excavate some of these buildings. We're looking for like defensible buildings with like some ability to teleport in and out of. Did you see any buildings with arcane writing on the floor or anything that could help with this while you're excavating?
I passed through some of these buildings. Go ahead and give me a quick just persuasion check as she'll see what she can remember. So there's here. Let me see your map, and she kind of takes a look at it. I see the places you have marked here. Well, that one, and she kind of stabs her finger onto the W, the corrupted college. She says, I heard this was a school for healers back in the day, and I only spent a few minutes in there myself. I started seeing some really weird stuff, and I couldn't bear it. They had to move me to a different work site after that. I wouldn't recommend spending too much time in there. And this one, she kind of stabs her finger towards the X, the hospice of sorts. This was most definitely a place of healing back in the day. I kind of spent some time in there whenever I was trying to hide after I escaped, and it's really big, and there are a lot of hiding places, but there's also a lot of entrances there. I didn't really fully explore it, as there are so many chambers within. I'm not sure if it would fit the bill for what you're looking for, but perhaps still worth investigating. And this one, she kind of points to the last one there, the Y. She'll say, I haven't been in that one at all, and it's kind of a reason. As I was making my escape, I saw through one of the windows in the tower that there was these strange, unmoving clockwork creatures. I'm kind of afraid of all these golems and things the Thayans seem to be using, and I'll be frank, I'm not very equipped for combat, so I didn't even make an attempt to go in there. But I think that's all I'm going to be able to help you with, and like I said, before you go out of here, take a quick look for any more secret compartments. You might have better luck than I did. And then as she kind of makes her leave, unless anyone else has anything to say to her, you all can make me an investigation check. It's a high one, but only one person needs to hit it, really. And so this is a big one. This is a big one, y'all. Hopefully someone's got some expertise in investigation. Dang, both of y'all already got it. That was pretty good. But yeah, someone else can still try to see if you're... Oops, Sledge would not have found it. Winfin and Bork would have found it.
Hey, Tally?
Yep.
Am I allowed to convert 300 gold pieces worth of diamonds into 300 gold pieces worth of diamond dust?
Sure.
So I'll bypass the investigation, let them find it. I'm pulverizing diamonds into dust right now.
Okay, sounds good.
For reasons.
Okay. So, of course, all you needed was one person to get it, and it looks like Winfin and Bork nailed it there. As you guys kind of, with her instruction, you kind of start to peek around a little more. Of course, you can gather up some artwork and things that are going to be worth about 10,000 gold. As well, though, it's just out of game. It's interesting how this is, because if you didn't roll, you wouldn't get it necessarily. And I kind of like that in a sense, that it's a little more risk, And but you guys locate a magic item for this adventure. I know, I guess for the sake of how it should work in a sense, you find these bracers. You're not 100% on what they might do, but they radiate some magic energy, and as you kind of hold them, they give off like a slight humming, like vibrating sensation. Does anyone have identify or anything like that? Okay, so you won't be able to use these necessarily. You'll have to get them identified later on. But
Well, if we attune to them, we automatically discover what that is.
I guess I wasn't aware of that. But in any case, I'll just show you guys what it is, and then you guys can decide what you do and move on.
Unless you have an open attunement slot, it's going to take 2 hours.
I do have an open attunement slot.
So it
It's
is.
still gonna take 1 hour.
So it is a bracers of defense. So you guys should all see that. Bracers of defense. Pretty cool item there, honestly. I guess it'd be good for barbarians and monks and stuff. Perhaps even a wizard if you don't have any armor on or anything. So there you go. You guys locate that. There seem to be some ancient bracers of immense value in the right arms or hands, I guess. But you guys have kind of fully searched out this ancient mansion location, and there's 3 more that you could check out. And I could use a quick bathroom break. I don't know if you guys want to take like just 2 or 3 minutes real quick and come back.
Sounds good.
Okay. And then if you guys want to move your token to the next location, and then majority, we can just do it that way. You got W, X, and Y.
Going in a line.
All right, keeping it in a line. All right, so whenever you're ready, just put an X in chat, and we'll kick it right back off in just a couple minutes.
Alright, we got 3. Lucian, are you here by chance? Or Winton? Alright, we'll give it a couple more minutes then. So we're going to number Y. Letter 5. Or however it goes. Alrighty. I think we may just wait on Lucian perhaps, but we'll go ahead and jump back into it. We've got a majority of everybody here as you come into this strange hall. It's a set of buildings, and there seems to be about 6 of them, connected hexagonal towers ranging from 200 to 400 feet in diameter. The surrounding buildings on the plot vary in size, but seem to be mostly empty. And you make your way through the towers, though, and you come across finely crafted wonders kind of scattered about, such as unfinished clockworks, bizarre devices made from a dark metal, and you see more of those crystals that you've kind of caught a glimpse of and been told of. We can just refer to them as far realm crystals, I guess. That's what they seem to be. And as you kind of peek around and get a sense of the area, it seems as if this used to be a guild hall of sorts for a company of artificers. And so some of this may go over some of y'all's heads as characters, or some of it may be like piquing the utmost interest of your life. This place used to be used by psionic users as well, and also warlocks. And you find yourself coming into these towers, and you see a trio of clockwork humanoids resembling dragonborns standing dormant. Each one seems to be expertly crafted with artistic designs on its chest. They're ice cold to the touch, and seems to be that they're unfinished, perhaps. They don't seem to react to anything or your presence in any way. But if anyone's curious about them, they could give an Arcana check. Sledge, you really don't seem to get much of an indication either way on these things. And Cylindra, you're kind of left pondering as well. And Boric, too. No one seems to really be able to get anything from these strange, kind of dormant clockwork dragonborn. Yeah, you try jamming it in, and something seems to spark off, but nothing happens yet. So it's 4. I guess the other one was Lucian. You there, Lucian? Okay, so another thing you guys kind of see as you move about these kind of joined up towers is strange devices that seem to be both futuristic and primitive kind of at the same time. For example, one is an elegant stone tube with mirrors inside projecting light from the softly glowing crystal set between them. The beam hums strangely when the stone tube is swung back and forth, but it's too weak to do anything else. Another one you find is a sort of wagon with rubber belts around the wheels that in turn are connected to a clockwork device meant to turn them. Silly primitives, what were they trying to do here? But it seems as if these devices don't really function anymore and couldn't really be repaired without a lengthy study of them, but something interesting to note. It's hilarious. They're about to drive up on out of there. But as you guys keep exploring, you find an underground entrance. And it seems as if a pair of staircases in one of the tower's basement leads to a hall with a tunnel leading further underground. This in turn connects to what seems to be an underground dungeon of sorts. As you get a little deeper in, your Harper allies kind of turn to you and they're like, this is interesting, we need to note this, but perhaps we shouldn't go too further deep in now, and unless you guys really want to, we're always willing to follow your lead. Should we go back up and explore the next place, or should we, just keep on seeing what's down here? What do you think?
That's, personally, I'd say probably go explore the other places back here.
Yeah, let's just stay focused on our main task.
All right, I think that's probably for the best, as we need to assess everything we learn first. But hey, I did find these as we were poking around up there. I wanted to wait until we were done and didn't distract you guys, but now seems the right time. But here, you guys should decide what we do with this kind of stuff. And they pass off to you some platinum bars and jewelry. Seems to be worth another 10,000 or so. And one of the things they found too is a potion of vitality that somehow miraculously defied being frozen here. So I'll look up a quick reminder. So if it needs to be used during the adventure, looks like the potion of vitality will remove any exhaustion, cure any disease or poison affecting you, and maximize the effect of any hit die you spend to regain health within the next 24 hours. So of course, if you don't use it, everyone will get their own little elixir at the end. But if you need it, use it of course, don't hesitate. And if anybody in particular wants to hold on to that, they can say aye. But you find that. And that seems to be it for this Hall of Arcanists. You have two more locations to kind of explore. There's the X and the W. And just kind of a routine thing here that'll pop up periodically. Everyone go ahead and roll me a Constitution save as you leave this building and kind of make your way to the next one. And it's just a feeling of being here for an extended amount of time. It's not like the most difficult to pass, but it's just like almost like a background thing that seems to kind of grind on you. And looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Everybody passes. You kind of don't let that chill sink into you. You make your way, and then I know it's kind of annoying, but another thing that would kind of pop up is another patrol if everybody wants to make a stealth check to kind of hide out in some of these side buildings and things and let the patrol pass as you move on to the next place. Got to remember that while you could easily take out one patrol, I'm sure, there are a lot more people here than them, and you've kind of gotten the indication that this is more a stealth mission. So let's see, a success, a fail, a success, and ooh, that one's close for Boric. I'd have to check. But anyways, 3 successes is going to do it as you are a little more ready for him this time. You see the little torch lights bobbing and twinkling through the darkness. You're able to kind of secure yourselves in, wait for them to pass, and keep on moving forward. And you enter W. All right, this is, as you can see, a triangular building. The first floor has entrances on each side, and the stairs kind of run between the floors, going up 3 stories. And inside this hollow structure is a triangular courtyard with snow-covered stone benches and piles of ice-riddled dirt. The building was probably some sort of medical school or college devoted to biological sciences. And you guys start to explore, going through these different study rooms. And there's kind of an eclectic variety, each dedicated to different subjects, including metalwork, stone carving, gem cutting. A few rooms have these weird vaults inside, along with needles and green glass containers, kind of resembling beakers and vials. There's implements associated with skinning animals and the ashes of long dead creatures and decayed notes kind of dotting the room. Everybody make me a Arcana or Medicine check. Oh. Alright, so looks like I think waiting on one, but for now only Cylindra. You are able to tell as you kind of wander through these floors, these study rooms. It seems very apparent that the ancient Dragonborn, they were studying aberrations in some of these theaters here. The implements here imply that they were taking samples of sorts from them and examining their physical and magical nature, but unfortunately, whatever knowledge that they were gaining is pretty much lost, as a lot of the stuff is too withered and decayed to decipher much more than that. And just for fun, since we haven't really had a combat yet, this is kind of an optional one to throw in, but so forgive me if it's a little bare bones in a sense, but if you want to just kind of form a battle position here as you enter one of these exam rooms, this strange construct creature, it's a multi-limbed mechanical sort of device hanging from the ceiling over an operating table, and when you guys kind of pass through this room, it detaches itself from the ceiling and fires a beam towards one of you. So I'll do that real quick, and then we'll just jump into some initiative as this automatic operating device determines that you few are worth operating on.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I'll just throw him over here in the middle. And I guess, Boric, you're looking like you can take a good old laser. So you got a good line of sight on you and all. 1 second, I'm going to help myself. I don't know why that did that. Do y'all see extra turns in the order? Like, not people that aren't here?
Just the
You
one
may have
creature.
not cleared it from the last encounter at the other table. The other day.
It's just weird how Roll20 works like that, because at the start it's just clear, and then I think as soon as someone rolls into it, it's like, bonk. And it's like, what? But I can clean it up.
All I see is the 5 of us and the monster.
Yeah, I got it all fixed now anyways. It might just show on my side for whatever reason, but yeah, I think you're right. It's like an old one that didn't get cleared, but it's just strange how it'll suddenly pop up from nothing. But anyway, so Winfin, yeah, you're able to kind of gawk. Just real quick though, go ahead and make me a Constitution save, Boric. All right, so you're able to resist this this paralyzing ray as it like just shoots all over your body as this thing tries to sedate you, whether you like it or not. But you're able to shirk off this strange feeling and get ready for some combat. And then, of course, Winfin, if you'd like to spring into action.
Would have much prefer to run away from it. But since it's there, I will bonus action disengage and move like over there. And then I will take a shot at it.
All right. It kind of clicks and moves very quickly as it kind of scatters on all these multi-legs, but it is unable to skirt out of the way enough to avoid that.
Alrighty, now I gotta remember what all I roll. So it's 46, 5, this be 4.
So, would sneak attack kick in?
Only if you had advantage, or there was one of us right next to it, which we're currently not.
Yeah.
That is true. So I will get
Thinking
that.
Just be a regular attack then, eh?
So it's just going to be the 10 piercing. Okay, can do that like that. 10 piercing, and then because of my Fae background, I do an additional D4. So it'll be a total of 12 piercing magical this time. And then that's all for me.
Okay, nice. All right, so using your short bow, you strike it true. It's kind of some circuits and like some electricity kind of shoots out. Looks all very strange and foreign as the ancient machination. Certainly worth studying, and it kind of clicks around and reassembles, and you definitely sense danger coming from it, even no matter how kind of foreign this looks.
Because this is kind of weird thing. The D4 from that is also psychic damage. I don't know if that takes any effect into him or not.
Yeah, that does matter. But okay, I'll mark that too. Thank you. Seemed like it didn't take as much of an effect from the psychic damage, but a little. Okay, and so it just kind of sweeps across the room. Knows Boric had already kind of avoided it and wants to try to pounce in towards Cylindra, and you see these forelegs kind of raise up and come pummeling towards you.
The first one will be at disadvantage.
Okay. So that is 13 with disadvantage, gonna miss. And it comes up for the next one. Ooh, and it'll be a 30 for the second one, as this thing clearly means to incapacitate and operate on its foes. And this will be slashing damage.
Got it.
Looking at 15 there.
Okay.
And then it will raise up and attempt to sedate one of you again. I guess I'll just move right along over here. We'll do sledge this time. If you'll... Oh, well, let me see. Actually, I gotta do a recharge on that. It's gotta be a 5 or 6. Okay, so yeah, we'll totally do that. And so if you'll make me a Constitution save.
Build different.
Okay, so you're good. It is a pretty high check, but not too high for you, Sledge, as you're able to feel, again, it's kind of almost a foreign magic. You're like, what is this strange magic? When in reality, it's like a electricity or something trying to zap you. You're able to resist it, and that's going to be its turn. If Winfin, did we... Oh no, that one just needs to go away. Alright, Lucian is up.
Okay. So it's some sort of mechanical creature, correct? Like a robot kind of thing?
Definitely.
Okay, I will then... Sure, I will... Sorry, try this. No, I'll do Sunburst. I don't want to be Saberstock. AC 19 Con. I assume I targeted it, so it's only I'm affected, none of my friends.
Your target is 60-foot radius, so it only affects him.
Yeah, I assume I'll put it back
In like
down the road.
outside the city.
Yeah. Where else? Actually, wait. Are there many pools around here or not?
Yeah, that does sound like it would be a beacon.
Fair enough.
Sure. They're like, what the hell? When was there a?
Okay, I will then just do instead of that. I'll just do disintegrate instead. It's more localized with a saber stock.
All right, save or suck, and then what is that? A dex save 19. All right. We are having a 24.
Fair enough. Sorry. I meant I would do quicker than that, so I would then do a trip, which is a bolt. I'll make sure I spend the sorcery to do that. Then
So is that a 18?
1 sec, sorry. That is yes, an 18.
Okay, so unfortunately that misses as it kind of.
Ooh,
It's-
jeez.
yeah, it's a beast.
Hold on. Since I did miss, I have some in my miss. Never mind. I do not. Never mind. Alright, I am done.
Okay. All right, so we're on to Cylindra.
All right. Cylinder is going to look at. Looks like Sledge is up next. He's going to need some help. So I'm going to bonus action cast Shield of Faith on Sledge.
Ooh, face.
And then as an action, I'm going to ask it for a DC 18 Wisdom save.
Wait, if that was a bonus action spell, is that a cantrip?
Yeah, I'm casting a cantrip as my action.
Oh, I got a nat 1, so fail. Natty 1. And it has been damaged. So it will take the d12. Or more, I guess.
3 of them.
3d12. Nice.
That's the cro-
Damn, dude.
This,
You have stuff that lets you add your modifier to damage?
it's a feat from Tasha's.
Ooh, like powerful cantrips or
Yeah,
or
power.
what was it?
But
Yeah,
it replaces your level 8 cleric ability, but whatever.
Cool.
All right. It seems as if, in this case, a lot of these different types of damage aren't necessarily ringing as true as they could. But even still, I mean, that's a substantial amount. All right. Okay. I know you did a couple things there. Anything else, Cylindra? This thing is...
That's my turn. Sorry.
Oh, you're good. Just making sure. Raising his forelegs at you. Sledge, what would you like to do?
Winfen. Yeah, I saw you shot it earlier. Do it again as I use Commander Strike. So you can use your reaction to make an attack. Oof. Yeah. Well, nice try. And now I will move in and make a Great Weapon Master attack. So 23 to hit.
And you're finding a connection there with your maul.
I'm going to attempt to frighten it. If it's immune, just tell me.
Okay, so you'll attempt to frighten it, and it is indeed immune.
Alright. Well, it will still take some extra damage, so 36 magical bludgeoning.
Okay.
That's max on the D10, that's nice. And I still have one more attack, so I will make a precision attack to hopefully turn that into a hit. So that 11 turns into a 20.
Okay. Yeah, you feel like you are narrowly able to pin it down, but with your hours and hours and hours of practice of these techniques, you're able to hone in and get a hit with that.
So this will be 23 bludgeoning. So, yep.
All right, nice. All right. So
And I don't think I can add maneuvers to it since it was a precision strike. So I'm going to end my turn.
all right, and as you guys are crunching into this thing, it kind of breaks and shatters away in a strange way, with bits of some sort of energy kind of shooting out from these just hard to identify components. It's not quite in a bloodied fashion yet, but getting there. And Bork, what would you like to do?
Right, I'll step up here and start taking some swings at them. I don't know why I did it that way. Hold on one sec. I guess I'll just have to roll.
I think if you click on the +3 in the description, it will roll it for you.
Looks like it didn't put your other modifiers. I just did it just to see real quick, and it only did a +3, so I'm sure you'd have to add some to that.
Yeah, no, it's weird. It's just not behaving the correct way. All right, I'll roll. So 28.
All right, Cylindra and Sledge, you feel the pounding footsteps of your stout companion there run up, twirling his staff as he brings it home for a nice strike.
1 second, let me take it out of my inventory and re-add it because otherwise this is going to be a pain.
Okay, no worries. And then we'll be back up at the top if Winfin, you want to start getting in mind of what you'll do in just a moment.
Nope. All right. Let me check this. So 20. The last D8 is for the improved divine strike, and I'll drop a first level smite on him.
Okay.
Okay, so the first attack is 31 points of damage.
All right, got that.
All right, I'll swing again. 15 probably misses. I'll do the bonus action with the Polearm Master. So 32.
Definite hit.
Okay, and I put another first level smite on that, so a total of 21 points on this other hit, and that'll be my turn.
All right, and so now he's for sure sparking, and even this strange kind of oily black liquid is oozing out on the floor around you guys, as he's not able to resist this type. And that's it for Bork, right?
Yep.
And Winfin, you were up.
Alrighty. Well, now that there's things around it and stuff, I am going to steady aim and take another shot at it.
Okay. Definite hit. As you settle in and focus a little more this time, aided by your friends. Is that 24 total?
Yeah, the 4 of it will be psychic.
Okay.
And that's all for me.
All right. Strange device is starting to wither down a bit, but it kind of clicks up and gets ready. It'll shift over slightly, still within range of everybody there. I guess the only person it's really hurt is Cylindra, so it'll just kind of focus fire there, trying to get a victim for operation. And let's see. The first one's with disadvantage every time.
Yeah, I'm going to impose disadvantage again.
Okay, so the first one will be a miss at the 14 then. And then it comes back for the second one with the 4-leg. And a 26 will do it.
Uh-oh.
It's coming through the best it can. Alright. Slashing damage again with its 4-leg. Looks like 16 this time, almost identical to last time, but it'll do that. And then as it's kind of it'll shoot off a ray over here towards we'll just do Lucian this time. And so if Lucian, you'll make me let me try to see if I can recharge it. My bad, I didn't always do that. Oh, and I did. Man, that's twice now. That's awesome, isn't it?
What saved it? I'm sorry.
Okay, so a Constitution save if you don't mind. Okay, so no worries. You're able to resist. It's this kind of crystal kind of slides out. Kind of looks like an eye of sorts to you and kind of shoots a ray, almost like it's analyzing you, but you're able to resist the electrical currents infused in it. And it took its attacks. It did that. So Lucian, you are up now.
Okay. I was going to say, hey, Sledge and whoever else, you want to have haste?
Sure.
Okay, anyone else want haste? In twin casted. It's not okay. Then you get haste. I will not twin cast. I will do that as a bonus action using 3 points. Then I will then, as a main action, do Firebolt, and then why not? You want to do something to it. Since I missed, I know it's a miss. I will spend 2 to make a new roll, and I must use the new roll with Seeking Spell. So I will do that, and
Okay.
22.
The magic infused in your blood guides you with a hit for 17.
Nice. I am done, and then you're hasted as well on your next. I am done.
And it seems like this fire damage kind of ripples and makes it kind of fizzle and pop pretty effectively. No more than usual, but certainly more than some of these other magical types have been. And then you said that's it for you? Yep, okay. Cylindra, this hulking device has got something against you.
I'll take a step back.
So that'll give an opportunity attack. Would that be with disadvantage because that thing, or not yet until?
I'm not going to impose disadvantage.
Oh shoot! I got a crit there, so it'd be like
No, you didn't.
31.
You hit, but you didn't crit me.
No, you have a
Correct.
adamantine or something. Nice. Okay, cool. That'll help. So just a straight one. I think it's the first time I've ever actually seen somebody use that like effectively. I guess. So I even have a set on a character too that I haven't really gotten to use it. I guess it's just for those specific moments, eh? But anyways, the foreleg comes at you. Just
Played Alex's table enough.
14.
What? All right, I take it.
Okay.
I cannot fail the con save.
All right. And now are you bumping your health down on your token? I know you had some temp to start with, but that's probably gone now, right?
Yeah, sorry. Is my token not linked to my HP?
Maybe it's no. That one didn't.
Hold on.
I got you.
That's hard.
It should be now. It says one. Oh, it just changed though.
All right, give me a.
Okay. Anyways, so you can still move on with your turn, of course.
Yeah, it's not linked yet, but let me. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay, cool. Whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna guiding bolt at second level. Stephanie's gonna miss. I am done.
All right. Got out of harm's way though, and you got some beefy friends in between you. Speaking of one of those beefy friends, Sledge.
So let's make a. Going to make a standard attack, so it will be a 23 to hit.
Okay, nailing it.
I'm gonna make it a maneuver, and this time it will be goading attack. So you will take the 13 points of bludgeoning damage, and they'll need to make a wisdom saving throw. DC 8.
Ooh, a 7 on the save, so that'll be a fail. And then what was the damage one more time? Is it 13?
Yeah, just 13 damage. And
Got that?
he's now goaded to me, meaning he has disadvantage on all attacks except on me.
Okay.
So okay, that was not attack number 1. Attack number 2. We'll try to make Great Weapon Master. Miss. I'm gonna leave it like that. And I'm going to replace my final attack with my fire breath. So they will need to make a dex save, yeah. So 15 fire if they fail, 7 if they succeed.
Ah, man, it's even got the ability to hit these saves, but I'm rolling like 1s and 2s. Totally failed.
Okay, cool. Now haste action. So let's make another attack.
Was that 18 total?
Oh yes!
Real quick, that was that 18 from that last one?
15.
15, okay.
Yeah, can't apply maneuvers to my fire breath as much as I would like to.
Okay. And then the next one is gonna miss.
The crit is gonna miss.
Just kidding.
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's see that damage has bits and pieces and chunks that are just flying off of this strange mechanical device.
Yeah, 49.
Okay, so
And it was a maneuver. It was. Let's say it was pushing attack, so it makes a strength saving throw or gets pushed back. DC 18.
I cannot save with this thing. I'm not sure why now. A 10. So, nope.
Yeah, we're gonna be pushed back like 15 feet, so quite far actually. I'm just busting. I threw him so hard, he busted down the wall and is now on the street.
I'll say he just smashes into one of the walls, and if he kind of breaks it down, but on the other side is just where it connects to another part of the tower and stuff. Kind of reemerges from the rubble, Dragon Ball Z style.
Damn, this
And
guy's tough.
It's
I don't
very,
know.
very close now. That was a pretty mighty attack there. Anything else from Sledge?
I have
Oh,
my
you
bonus
used
action.
action, right?
Huh?
I think you did.
But you're hasted, so you did.
Yes, I did.
That last
So
one
I
was the
made-
haste one, yeah.
I made 2 attacks and fire breath for my main action, and the haste attack was the critical. So
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
No, that was awesome.
Yeah, and my bonus action, I don't actually have. Wait, hold on.
Dun, dun,
I have
dun.
Great Weapon Master. I can make 1 more attack as a bonus action. Everyone forgets about that half of the feat. So, 24 for
Coming home with it.
25. There you
Sheesh.
go.
All right, let's. Okay, couldn't take another one of those. That's for sure. Not anything else.
That it.
All right, Boric, you might finish it off with a bit of luck.
All right, I'll run down.
And the 22 will do. Skidoo. For 17, which will put it on death's door with 1 HP remaining. It's been so dexterous and able to dodge and tweak and mold itself and move out of the way on these spindly little joints and things. But now it's more so just kind of convulsing a little and twitching on the floor as little sparks of energy just shoot throughout its body and make it kind of spark up at you and its limbs kind of flail. You got another attack in you, or?
Yep, 1 more attack, and then I have my bonus action attack.
For 31, I think that is going to hit it. And it only have 1 HP, so if you want to, you can roll damage if you want, or you can also just give us a good old description of its demise.
Fork is just getting taken, thinks this is a fairly unnatural creature, and just starts hammering it over and over and just tries to dent it and smash into as many tiny pieces as he can.
Woohoo, caveman, technology bad. Woohoo.
All right, nicely done.
That's
So
it.
we'll clear out of the turn order there as you guys finished up that, and you're free to kind of explore the area a bit more, or do whatever you want to do after a battle, of course, too.
Would a short rest be plausible?
I guess there's not really any time restraints on this adventure necessarily, as long as you're not discovered or whatever is kind of what you're looking out for. And so if you secure the area and things like that, yeah, I'm sure you'd be fine to do that if you see fit.
Back to them.
Well,
What do you-
the caravan that you came in on is going to leave at a certain time, and that is kind of one way you could exit out of here. But other than that, I mean, there's not really anything time-wise holding you back.
Do you need healing?
I think you regain a lot of those superiority dice or whatever they're, right?
Yeah. I just want my cool tricks back.
I would say you feel like you could probably squeeze one in here somewhere, and if you want to do it now, you could, or you could do it a little later, I suppose.
In that case, I'll wait. I'll be fine.
Okay.
Sure.
All right, well, back to the exploration of this corrupted college area. You kind of examine the retriever, strange creature. Hard to make heads or tails of it now, especially since it's been smashed to little itty-bitty bits. But you kind of look around and see what else you might be able to find here, or if it's perhaps worth using as a base, which has been your goal all along, of course. Not just tourists here in Zorventroth, but you see countless experiments here, and it looks like creatures from the far realm, long dead, but the influence still remains, absorbed by strange kind of glassy stone structures around you. It's just, you get a really evil, twisted vibe, just pretty much coming from the walls around you even. And you kind of, again, feel these strange visions and things kind of leaking into your mind. Perhaps a dark figure with a knife kind of like sneaking up on you, and your reflection that you see very quickly. But when you turn, weapons ready, nothing's there. Or you kind of end up coming up upon yourself again in a reflection later and see your face just rot and collapse into a pile of worms. And as you kind of pick your way through here, everyone go ahead and make me a quick wisdom saving throw.
Yikes. Feel the difference?
Everyone gets +5.
So with the 1, a fail is a fail, right?
No, it's only for attack rolls.
So okay. So,
Yeah, but still just a 12.
So it wouldn't be 17?
No, because the +5 is already added for mine.
Ah, okay, gotcha. Okay, thank you for clarifying. As usually not the biggest deal, but I suppose we'll see. So it looks like Lucian, Cylindra. No, Cylindra, you get the +5, so yours would be a 19 after that, so you're good. So Boric and Lucian, as you've kind of, I guess you two would have make sense, where one of you, Boric, you kind of see it looks like someone's sneaking up on you, and then you turn and no one's quite there, while Lucian, you see yourself just rotting to worms and things like that, and it kind of just starts to get to you, and you will take a short-term madness here. If you want to go ahead and roll me a D100, both of you guys. And so I'll go ahead and roll out the duration. That one will be for Lucian, and then this one is for Boric. And so Lucian, for the next 4 minutes, you have to retreat into your mind to kind of get away from that vision plaguing you, and you are paralyzed. This effect will end if you take any damage, but for now your body goes rigid as you're kind of frozen in fear. As you have to protect your sanity, you have to retreat a little deeper into the recesses of your own mind.
I got 51 DM.
Lucian had 51, Boric had a 15.
Oh, my bad, I did read that differently, but I'll go ahead and go with it. I already read it out, so my bad. You end up getting something different. But 4 minutes. Boric, the 15. Oh, I just did it backwards. I'm so sorry. So Boric, you're the one who ends up being paralyzed for 8 minutes. And then Lucian, you feel compulsed, afraid even, where you feel alone in this world. No one is trustworthy. Everyone is out to get you. The paranoia creeps and crawls up your back until you look over at Winfin there standing next to you, who before seemed like this harmless, maybe even adorable little rabbit fellow who, is actually kind of starting to grow on you a little bit. But all of a sudden now you look at him, and the obvious treachery that he's been putting and plotting towards you looms in your mind, where he definitely is going to try to kill you later on. You cannot help it. You raise your weapon up and you strike towards him. If you'll make that roll, please. So 15, I don't think would hit. Nope. AC 17. So he definitely kind of ducks out of the way and wondering what the heck you're doing. Anyone else have a reaction to this other than Boric, of course, because he's kind of locked in fear?
I'm just drooling on the ground.
Cylinder will grab the staff off of her back and hit Lucian and Boric with it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm assuming you just burn a couple charges in your staff.
Yeah, I just put 4 charges for health restoration, which I do believe is sort of short term.
So, Lucian, Cylindra, like, tentatively approaches you with her staff raised, and she has, like, a pleading look in her eyes almost as she's trying to, you know, calm you down. But to you, it just looks patronizing. You feel hate welling up inside of you. You're not sure where this is coming from, but again, you raise your weapon to strike, and then she blasts you with that lesser restoration, and you're all of a sudden wondering, what made you feel that way? Was that in you all along, or was that just something cast upon you? As of course, as you say, you apologize and feel like being in this place is going to have very weird, strange effects on you guys. And one last thing, though, before you kind of discover what everything available here, is you come across one last room, and in each corner of it you see an opaque 15-foot diameter, 20-foot tall cylinder made of green stone. Again, like, it's opaque, like you can't see what's inside of it. It's in each corner of a pentagonal room, and the cylinders each seem to have a sort of door or hatch, but it's locked with a little device that's kind of glowing and appears most certainly to be some sort of lock, maybe of magical origin. Not really too much else in the room other than these things. You can kind of take a look at them if you want, or you can move on to the next place.
Can we see anything inside the cylinder?
Not at all.
I'm fine leaving it, given we already had that one spider come out. But
Yeah, I attempt to plug my cable into it.
It looks like that doesn't work, but through, getting closer and kind of fumbling with it a bit, seems like a typical lock that you'd have to do the normal things to unlock, or it does seem to be a bit magical, where perhaps the spell could do it as well.
So, can I try and dispel magic?
For sure. You want to cast that?
At 3rd level.
Okay. So you cast Dispel Magic on this on this strange cylinder. Curious as what's inside. Perhaps something of knowledge to gain, or maybe even another treasure, or who knows. And
I'm a far traveler. Everything about this realm excites me, so I'm very curious.
all right, and immediately this creature, unbeknownst to you, was residing in there, a product of strange experiments that have been done on it. And in its many eyes, you see clear just rage and insanity, as who knows what foul things were done to this being so long ago, and it's been trapped and imprisoned here. And with that, we will roll initiative. I will reveal the creature. As this crazy beholder comes out.
Yes. Is it like flying?
Well, I guess it would be hovering in the tube. It kind of comes out of the hatch
towards you guys. And, we can work with where our positioning is with this. And just keep in mind there's at least 3 more of these kind of tubes around. And as it comes out, I'll just say to start off the conflict, this would kind of make the most sense. It will... one second, just gotta... Okay, perfect. Never mind. Okay. Alright, let me roll my initiative. Sorry about that. Just had to get the exact specific there. Oh my gosh. So this thing comes out clearly ready to do what it can. Looks like we all rolled pretty poorly, but it's still better than me by a long shot. Lucian, what would you do?
I'd like to be first with 14. I will. Let's do a level 7 disintegrate for 19 dex. I will put that.
So I guess there is something I should point out there, because technically it was Winfin here that was letting him be free, so his gaze probably would be in this direction, and he has a anti-magic cone from his central eye.
Actually, Slender was the one that dispelled magic. So
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad.
you would be looking at me.
Okay, that works.
Okay, alright, just wanted to make that a part of the thing, but never mind, you're good on your side.
Nice. Okay then. DC 19.
And 21, so it looks like he'll save. He'll take...
It's nothing. I did put in that, so then I will spend 2 sorcery down to 7. And I will do a firebolt. 24 for 24.
Okay.
And I am done.
Alright, yeah, it gives this unintelligible bellow of rage as it's scorched by your bolts and just ready to do what it can. Winfin, though. What do you make of this situation?
That's too many eyeballs. I will steadily aim for all of them and take a shot at them with the short bow. .31 to hit.
All right. $24 total.
Yep, one of it being psychic. And that is all for Winfin. Yeah, that's he's gonna stay back behind it.
All right, you can see how it's kind of battered already, and not quite as full as it could be for this long prison imprisonment here. But you guys are whittling it down. We'll go to Boric.
All right. Let me see if my D&D or my Beyond 20 is working. Nope. All right. I'll just take a swing manually. $16.
It will evade.
Right, second swing.
It will not evade.
Right, I'm going to drop a smite. I'll do second level. All right. So total of 41 points on that one, and then I'll do my bonus action hit. And that one will be another miss. And that will be his turn.
Okay, taking some significant damage and seeing that it senses the reflexes of Sledge about to jump into play, and so it'll do a legendary action to shoot a random eye ray. So I guess I gotta roll for it, honestly. I was gonna do something in particular, but let me see. So towards Sledge. Cool, that's actually what I was gonna do. But you'll have to give me a dexterity save, as one of the eyes kind of trains on you.
Build difference?
And you succeed with no problem. As just one of the eyes shoots a colored ray towards you, indigo in flavor, but you're able to just jump and it kind of strikes the wall behind you, and then that'll be
Before my proper turn would start, I think that would mean I can use my reaction to make a repose. Unless it's like, I don't know.
It is a legendary action, which translates to be like an attack action normally. So I don't know how your wording would be for that, but essentially it would be an attack against you.
Yeah, I mean it would work, but what I'm wondering if does a legendary action happen on my turn or like in between turns?
It's at the end of the last turn. So before it was the end of Borik's turn, it activates.
So I would keep my reaction. That's what I'm like, use it and then immediately get it back. That's what I'm getting at.
Sounds like that would be the case, yeah.
Okay, so let's do that.
Doesn't riposte only work with a melee attack though?
Oh shit, it does it? I think it does, yeah. But let's see. Looking at it right now. Repo. When a creature misses you with a melee attack. Okay, that solves it. Well, okay, ignore that. Let's make an attack. 25. And I'm gonna make it a maneuver, so you're taking 28 points of damage, and I will attempt to frighten it, but if it's immune, just tell me.
It is not.
Oh, wisdom saving throw, DC 18.
Okay, let me get this HP real quick. It's definitely well under bloodied now. It hasn't even gotten to go yet. But let me get that save. Say, was it wisdom?
Yeah.
Okay, 25. Quite wise is this creature. He's been locked in here for an eternity to ponder things.
Second attack. 21 for 26. Nothing fancy added to that. Attack number 3.
Okay.
25 for 24.
Sheesh, he is almost dead before he even gets to go.
I'm gonna action surge.
Guess I shouldn't say that, but it's okay.
Miss.
Oh.
Miss.
Oh. Oh.
24.
Okay, he's dead.
Okay, boy, we did it. We saved the world.
It's always interesting to see how things play out, and in this case, I'm sure you're very curious to unlock the other three pillars in the corners of this room, right? I mean, you probably want to go do that, right? Or you want
You
to,
sound too eager.
or y'all just want to move
I'm
on?
fine. I'm fine to move on.
Okay, so you hear a mental screaming of torture as you exit the room and know that probably some more creatures of this nature were there, but he never got a chance. I guess just out of game, it's kind of fun to know that the way the combat would have went is he would have unlocked his friends, but then they would have had like a full scale warfare where you guys could kind of either escape or, watch them kill each other and contribute one way or the other. But hey, you saved us 20 more minutes, so honestly, I'm not complaining about that. And you guys leave the demented beholder behind. And that's about all you can kind of explore here in the corrupted college, as it were. But you do have one more location if you guys just want to keep on moving that way. Beholder War! Alright, and so you guys get to the last and furthest building. It's a 700-foot tall heptagonal building. We've got some towers at its corners, some other oblong buildings kind of attached to it, and it sits, they all sit pretty close together. Seems like this is most likely a hospital of sorts. And you start to pick your way through carefully and as stealthily as possible. You see several rooms containing stone beds, the toppings now just sparse tatters of decayed fabric. Other rooms look like they're more meeting halls or alchemical workshops, small kitchens perhaps. It's clearly somewhere this is a place used to heal the sick, kind of like an organized apothecary. And it seems like some of these devices here are pretty intact, although they're definitely wholly alien to you guys. Not really. It would take a pretty lengthy research to understand exactly what they do. So for now, you just have to kind of make a mental note and keep picking your way through. That was kind of in the main building of the place. Sorry, my little baby. But you kind of move on to some of these towers and things. And to get there, though, you have to pass over a frozen river that kind of runs between the hospice's buildings. It kind of ends in a frozen waterfall to a pretty cavernous space below. You guys can kind of take a peek and look down, but your Harper allies kind of come back and are like, wow, that is pretty interesting, but if we get lost down in that, we're never going to find the right base. Perhaps we should just take note of this and come back later. As you can see how they're kind of setting up for further adventures, more or less, by some of these locations. So just, they're there, but it's a little off the beaten path from where you would want to go. So kind of return back from the cold outside to a slightly more comforting inside and search through the towers. And they're kind of old storage rooms, offices, some living quarters. There's really only decrepit remains, hinting at the original purposes, but you could kind of peek your way through and see what you might be able to find. You finally do come across a little bit more interesting of a room, as you find these doors just covered in ice. Takes you a moment to kind of break them free, and inside you find that the main room here is covered in some decayed fabric remains, and this putrid smell just assails you, as you can tell that it's been trapped up in this room for who knows how long. Kind of take a look at the mounds of fabric and these cradle-like basins, and if anybody wants to just get a little more information, you could do a history or medicine check.
I think Salindra has it.
So this room looks like sledge, you would be able to tell as well. And of course, Cylindra is almost an expert on these things, apparently. But was most definitely a ancient dragonborn hatchery. Probably should have gave you some advantage for being dragonborn on that one, honestly. But you didn't need it.
Aw.
Last but not least, there's a little kind of smaller building attached to this room that seems worth investigating. When you peek in, and it seems like there's a strange open coffin here made of dark metal, and it's covered in these weird wires and strange symbols that no matter what kind of, arcane or religious thought you put towards it, these are just clearly not from this planet. Even nothing recognizable about the symbols. However, there is a charged Far Realm crystal resting nearby on the table. And you can see that how on this coffin you kind of close over. It looks like a coffin, but could even be some sort of like tank, or I think a little more sci-fi, like like the, I'm trying to get the term for it, but like Vegeta, what he'll be rejuvenating his juices inside, something more of those lines. And you can see where a Far Realm crystal could be inserted into like a little slot on the coffin. Seems about the right size, give or take, for one normal sized humanoid to squinch in there. If you guys want to give it a try, or you could say hell nah and move on.
So Slender will jump in and have someone put the crystal in there.
So for the pursuit of knowledge, especially something potentially medicinally based from your surroundings, you eagerly climb in, and as they kind of close the door in front of you, you almost feel this like bit of panic setting in as you're like, what did I just sign up for? As the darkness kind of encloses around you, a bit of claustrophobia perhaps, and you hear a little sound as they one of your friends will volunteer if they want to put the crystal in the slot.
Yeah, for science.
For science, he cries as he jams the charged crystal in there. The charge of the crystal is immediately expended and exhausted as gouts of sparks and smoke kind of start to pour from it, and a little bit of like the seams around the door. You kind of watch in horror as you wonder if your friend's being cooked alive inside there. But after a few moments, the door kind of opens back up, and tentatively you see Cylindra kind of push it open, and instead she looks very well refreshed. If you'll roll me 3d8 real quick, Cylindra. You regain 14 health, you have 10 temporary HP, and you also gain resistance to psychic damage for 8 hours. As you see, your risk was worth the reward. So if you'll make note of that stuff. And just a little background on the crystals if you're curious. It seems obvious that the Zorventrothian Dragonborn have been experimenting with them, harvesting the Far Realm energy into these small crystals. Clearly they can be used to power magical or unique items of different kinds, and they do radiate some fate auras of magic themselves. I'm not sure how they gain the charge, as you've seen some that are kind of used, and now you have one that's used in front of you. You're not sure how you would recharge it, although there was a mention earlier from that lady about how she saw someone kind of hold it over a dead creature of some sort, and it seemed to like suck energy into the crystal in a way. But those are pretty much the only clues you can reason from that. And as you guys make your exit, you can kind of pick up some of the alien medical devices that are that are able to be carried out or whatnot, and that'll be another 10,000 gold. So I think we're up at 30,000 now to be separated. And with that, you guys are able to kind of regroup. The Harpers are like, I think we've about searched everything around here. We've kind of got an idea in our minds of which one would be the perfect location, but just out of curiosity, let's see what you guys think. Out of all those, what do you guys reckon? And then we'll tell you what we've decided on.
Was there any of them that seemed like you can't teleport in and out of Zorbatroth? Was there any seemed like that you could?
Well, that's a rumor that we kind of have, is that, you know, they're such powerful wards here against teleportation, but it kind of seems obvious that they would have had to have moved around in some way. And you can see how advanced they are from the things we found. So while we haven't really seen anything yet, I could only assume that there's got to be something here we haven't quite touched on yet. But we do have these spells if we can figure that out as well, despite the wards. But yeah, I think we have a good idea of what would make the best base. But of course, we'd like your input. What do y'all think?
Not the place that beholders behind doors. I wouldn't choose that.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that one. Yeah, maybe the hospice is out. So that leaves that ancient mansion and that college of sorts, and then the hall of artificers and arcanists and things.
The mansion might be nice.
The college, that Y area would be good, but we'd have to. Weren't there a bunch of tunnels under it?
So I think you're thinking along the same lines we are. We're kind of thinking that hall of arcanists and artificers and stuff, it's got a lot of underground access there. It probably would be the ideal place for a base. We could probably conduct some secret travel throughout the city. They'd never even know. I think you guys are onto some interesting points too, and if we have to reevaluate later or relocate, we at least have knowledge on a couple more sites. But I think this is what Remy would want us to do, is to go under. The only thing though is, I mean, we found him. We didn't really explore him then. That wasn't the right thing to do. But there are a lot of tunnels under there. We probably want to get under there and clear them out first to make sure we can invest in the space before we consider our mission complete here.
I'm good with that.
Sounds good to me.
All right. We'll just leave it at a Constitution save. As again, we'll just check in with that. It's not a very hard one to beat, of course, but if everyone will make a con save. Pass the grass. Lucian, good pass. We missing one more. Was it Sledge? You got a Constitution save?
Oh, it's me.
Just another general one from everyone, just from being in this. It's like they call it sinister chill, which I think describes it pretty well. It's it's the evil presence embedded in the walls and an area, but also kind of just the cold itself too. It could give you some exhaustion along the way. I think really we've only had one take exhaustion, and that was so pretty not too bad in the end. All right, and you guys, are easy to find your way back there, and you start to descend underneath this hall, and you find yourself in a complex of tunnels, chambers, and frozen waterways under Zorventroth. You feel that danger probably lurks around every corner, and know that you need to clear out some of this immediate section here at least to kind of claim your stake here, as it were. And we'll end up moving maps in just a second, but you start exploring the tunnels beneath the hall of the Arcanists, and
Did someone want to take a short rest though?
this would be a good time too if y'all wanted to do that.
Well, I mean, if yes, then sure.
Sure.
Okay, so you can afford one more good short rest before you venture out. Then you go down officially into the dangers. If anybody wants to roll any dice or whatever you need to do there, of course, do that. And then you find yourself in a strange place where it seems the Dragonborn were contacting otherworldly entities, making terrible pacts in return for unique magic. some call it warlock, but whatever. And as you kind of descend here, you find these effigies built to these entities, strange focal points to plead with their patrons. Of course, they're all just very twisted and strange. Stairs begin to wrap around a hexagonal chamber leading you down into the floor. And in the southern half of this room, there are 5 statues carved of green stone. There's a hallway extending from this room, and it seems to be a little bit collapsed at the far end. You'll have to venture in a little further to investigate. But I'm going to pop you guys over a map. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Are we missing anybody in the corner here? There he is. And so, yeah, if y'all didn't see in chat there, of course, Bork is going to give you more of that sweet, sweet temp HP. And you guys can kind of arrange yourself around the room however you see fit. And the tunnel kind of goes to the north that you saw that seems to be a little bit crumbled. And each of these dots represents a statue. Of course, our Dragonborns are very easily able to identify a fellow Dragonborn in the statue, but each one does seem to have strange, sinister changes that you don't notice in your friend there, at least you hope not, where like one has distended fingers, another has needles for teeth, one has multiple eyes like a spider, another has like skin that just seems to be drooping off the way it was carved, one has tentacles sprouting from its head, all mismatched and jumbled up around you. Weird twisted abominations of Dragonborn. Any spellcasters in the group, you automatically feel your connection to the weave falter as you get closer to these statues. It just seems like your connection to magic is just almost taken from you. When you kind of take a step back and you feel it return. Go ahead and, if you have a spell slot, I guess is the only one that matters really too, but make an intelligence saving throw.
You still get +5 on those.
It's got a 10 for Lucian, a 9 for Cylindra. Anybody else that has spell slots? An 11. So I'll have to trust you to mark it off your sheet. But as you guys kind of enter and start to observe these statues, you feel this, your connection to the weave sever slightly. And as it does, you have to almost grasp at it like sand or water through your hands to regain that connection that you so wholly depend on and love. And as you do, it looks like everybody except for Boric will lose a spell slot of the highest level. So if you'll just mark that on your sheet, as you kind of had to expend energy to regain your connection, and you fear the longer you stay around these statues, it could potentially happen again. As you do, it almost feels like you hear this like faint, fading chuckle in the back of your minds. Not sure if that's just your imagination or not, but there is a little bit of a broken hallway here. If you want to explore further up, I can reveal some stuff.
Can we knock over the statues? Does that kind of block off what they're doing?
They do seem like, like most things, they could be destroyed in some way. They have an AC and hit points, I guess, if that's what you're asking. But as long as you retreat across away from them, you don't feel too afflicted by the presence. But if you want to take the time to do something with them, of course you can. It's up to y'all.
I just want to get away from
Okay.
them. They already cost me a level 7 spell slot, so.
Or if there's someone who doesn't have spell slots.
Imagine having spell slots. This post was made by the fighter gang.
Oh, either way, if someone doesn't have any spell slots, they could try to break the statue. So if we ever have to come back into this room, we don't have to, make any saves again.
Sure.
Okay, so there's 5 of them, as you can see, and they're pretty stout. Seems like it would take a moment to do it, but of course, if that's what you want to do, you can. But you'd have to just start rolling some attacks, I guess.
Oh, sure. So, 18 or 21.
Okay, so kind of crack and break one of them away, but not quite enough.
15.
You miss it on that one, as it almost seems like fade and shimmer in front of you, and you hear that kind of like chuckle in your mind again.
And another miss. Okay, that was an action.
And so, yeah, one of the harpers is starting to get a little fidgety as you spend longer and longer here. They're like, how long is this going to be? I can feel that weird feeling starting to settle in again. As you can most certainly continue if you choose.
If I can keep hitting, then take another 27.
And that one kind of crumbles and shatters there in front of you.
Cool. 18 hits, I believe, so 23. And I missed.
Time's kind of ticking on. So you're doing your best. You feel everyone's attention on your back as beads of sweat start to drip down a little.
I think it's supposed to be like this.
Take another 23.
And that one crumbles. So you've destroyed 2, and then with that, I have everybody make me a Constitution save.
No, that would be dumb.
Build different.
As the longer you're in here, you feel this presence kind of seeping in. And it looks like everyone's able to shirk it off without any affliction there, and you can continue to wail away.
Okay, miss.
I'm confused. Why are we smacking the wall? I'm sorry.
Well, I was just thinking if we ever have to run back through here, we don't want to lose any more spell slots.
Oh, fair enough.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my thought.
Let's give it one last action attack. So 22 points of damage. And then 24 and a miss.
Okay, so a third one gets destroyed. And just real quick, while Lucian, you kind of move back into the back of the room to preserve those precious slots. And you see this oddly shaped room you're in. It's collapsed in all sides, but there's 2 exits. One's a partially collapsed passageway. And the other one's kind of a set of unstable stairs you can see there in front of you.
Okay.
But the thing is, too, is there's this strange yellow-green gas covering the floor all around you, and it seems to be originating from up the little staircase in front of you. And as you stand there, go ahead and make me a Constitution save. And I'd say we're getting to the point where you're almost stuck between a rock and a hard place or whatever. And I guess to kind of equal that out.
Let's just go.
If you're hiding from the spell slots, then I'll need you to make the Constitution save, as you're kind of having to retreat further back into here.
I got it. 20.
So you're able to resist this strange kind of mist flowing in on you, and then if you'd either kind of have to pick the lesser of 2 evils in a sense, and especially that a little bit of time's like whittled on. You could either be in here kind of suffering from the spell slot thing, or you might be out there with the gas. I know a lot of you ran up in here originally. And so if you did, you'll just have a Constitution, as you've been kind of standing in this this yellow-green fog that's rolling down from up in the stairs. It's hardly noticeable at first, but the longer you kind of sit in it, it starts to kind of get to you a little. Not Lucian though, and not Cylindra. Looks like Winfin will kind of feel it kind of take over him a little bit. Boric, you are in the main room.
No, I'd probably be a little bit away from the statues like that, but waiting on. Just out of curiosity, how many of the statues?
He's destroyed 3 now, so there's 2 more, and this rolling fog has kind of been thickening at your feet until now it's almost seems to be all around you, filling your nostrils. But if you just want to do a con save, and you're able to resist, this was a pretty high one actually. Winfin, though, you do take it. You are poisoned, and your speed is halved as you feel your body feel numb. You can repeat every hour. And if you want, real quick, go ahead and make me an Arcana or Nature check as you feel this strange poison take hold. Just enough to recognize this poison gas is definitely connected to the far realm. Seems like it would function as a normal kind of fog, though, as far as perhaps potentially getting rid of it, but also seems like may want to avoid some fire, you can reason, as it seems to be a flammable gas of sorts.
I could probably go in there. I've got this on.
Okay, then you're good. Yeah, you're totally fine, but you recognize it for what it is. Looks like Cylindra will reach out, help her friend come back to original self and speed and all. While Sledge, you feel a little bit of kind of terror in the voices of your friends behind you, and look back to see that creeping fog rolling in from this one last undiscovered room. And are you gonna keep whacking away?
Try to finish what I started. 17.
Let me check. That's a close one. That will hit.
25.
Okay.
15 misses probably. A 24, however, will deal 20. So
The fourth
14.
one crumbles.
Okay, cool. One more left. So if nothing else happens, I will proceed to do that. Miss. Hit for 23, and also a hit for 23.
Lucian has a small protest before it's just too late, as Sledge, with those. They have about 40 HP each, and so it took you a couple of wallops for each one. And, your friends had to breathe in some toxic gas in the time, but you walk back confidently and happily as you make your way in there. And then, unfortunately, you kind of walk into the gas that's coalesced there. If you want to make that Constitution save real quick.
Build it different.
And then, so you're fine. Yeah, you're about to see where it's coming from. As you see, there is like a little tunnel branching off from where you were in that room, but there also is the stairs going up to where this fog is kind of flowing down. Which way would you like to go? And check up in.
Bork tells everyone, why don't you try to stay out of the fog? Poison's not going to bother me, so I can just go in and take a look.
All right.
Is there a staying out of the fog? I thought it was rolling in everywhere.
So it's kind of pouring down in from down this little stairway, and it's kind of been coalescing in this other room, and at your feet.
Fog's coming from here.
And so Boric volunteers to venture forth with his periapt clutched tightly for comfort. With your passive perception of 15, you are unable to see how there's a strange part of the floor on the stairs right as you get to the top that doesn't look quite solid. And go ahead and roll me a d4 if you don't mind. As you fall like 5 feet into the floor, which I'm not sure how tall you are.
Probably about 4.5 feet. Dwarf.
So you just sink all the way into the floor, as if you just fell into quicksand, and you immediately find yourself suffocating because you're completely surrounded by the earth around you in that sense. You can try to escape, of course, with an athletics check. And so you're just a little too deep under there, and you kind of fumble and clutch and pull, and so that ends up being like a round's worth of time. I'm sure you can hold your breath for minutes, but you do feel a little bit of panic kind of set in, as if you can't find yourself out of this suffocating environment that your friends will wonder where Boric disappeared to. And I guess as far as your friends, they could potentially help. Looks like I should have had you roll a disadvantage on that last one. My bad too. But I'll go ahead and tell you now. If somebody kind of comes up and helps you, then
I don't have any rope, so
then it'd be a straight roll. Oh, and oh my gosh, this is crazy actually. As roll me another d4.
Anyone have a rope?
As you fall 2 more feet, you're like sinking in this ground as if it's water, and you sink down 2 more feet. So now you're 7 feet deep total. Honestly, I think at this point you wouldn't really be close enough for anyone to help you because you're exceeding the 5-foot range. And anyone, I mean, a rope maybe.
I have a rope.
All right, so he'll toss the rope down. So instead of rolling with disadvantage as you're sinking in, you can just have a straight roll. It gets a little harder the further you sink, obviously.
Okay, I'll use my inspiration to get advantage on that.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Yeah, of course. All right, it's a mighty struggle to get to the top, but you just feel yourself like slipping. You even manage to grasp onto the rope slightly to help, but something almost is just sucking you deeper underneath the ground, and that will be another 6 seconds past. So 12 seconds, and then if you'll roll me another d4. As you fall, as you sink 4 more feet into the ground. At this point, you're 26. No, my bad. I'm sorry. You're 10 feet below the surface. Make a mark of this. All right, and if anybody else has any ideas or contributions, feel free. This is like a whole round is passing at a time, so he's obviously trying to scramble out of there. And you have one person holding the rope, but if there's any other kind of like just pure improvisations, or whatever like that, or spells or anything, that could help in a way, then feel free. Otherwise, we'll kind of have to keep going and hope that his rolls will exceed his breath, I guess. What's your Constitution modifier?
+3.
So what is that? Gosh, I can't remember the formula off the top of my head.
I think it's 4 minutes.
So 4 minutes. So it'll be a while, but you do feel yourself like sinking deeper down, as you've almost been in there for 12 seconds or so. Anything else for the next bit?
Yeah, and I up. Well, is it possible to approach within touching distance without getting dragged in yourself?
At this point, he is 10 feet away from you. What seems to be like inside the ground. It's hard to even see necessarily where he would be at this point, but you do see the rope kind of descending down into the ground, but it's pulled taut as if it's got a fish on the line.
Let's pull that fish out. Build different.
Okay, I'll give you an attempt at it. Why not? And so with the 26, you start heaving him up out, and then how about Boric? You give me one more with advantage, complete, since he's giving you a nice heave upwards as you grab on tight to the rope. And nice. Okay, I knew it was really only one roll away, but it's got the potential to be a long, drawn-out, suffocating process. But with a little help from your friend and a couple good rolls, that's good enough for me. As he heaves you up, and it's strange to see this rope just held taut as it finally, his head breaks the surface, almost as if it's water, and you gotta take a deep breath and taste that fresh, sweet air again. As now you know to kind of maneuver around these stairs. They seem to be kind of formed by debris and whatever haphazard things have crumbled here, and so that's where you kind of sink it into some weird combination of that and some magical destabilization, I guess. But you make it through that, and you come into this room one more time where this yellow-green gas is kind of rolling over you, starting to be quite thick. This is just you, Boric, and obviously it's not affecting you too much, but you see where it's coming from now. There's dozens of these frost-covered yellow-brown ovoid pods, each roughly the size of a dog or so. And at the rear of the room, you could kind of see the crack better that you had seen earlier that would lead you on like a little deeper into the environment. There was like a crack here that lets you into the room by sledge, and there seems to be another like kind of hidden one back here that's a little more easy to see now that you're closer. Seems like you could squeeze into it, and that'd be a way further forward. In this,
so there are these pods, and we still have this mist that we're gonna have to walk through.
That does seem to be the case, as everyone is going to have to take a quick trip through the fog, and then you could squeeze through this second crack.
Well, I'm going to ask everyone to get back into the room with a big Y in it.
Are you going to cast something to blow up the pods?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll stand near you in case you need some sort of save.
I'm going to drop a fireball on the other end of the side of the room.
So do you have to see it?
There has to be a straight line, but I don't actually have to see it.
Well, did you say the fog was flammable or not to use a flame?
Nope, I didn't say that.
Didn't you say something about not having a flame?
No, I don't know about that. But
I'm fairly certain you said the fog was flammable. I'm trying to burn the fog off and the dragon eggs at the same time.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's play this out. Pretty good idea to make it happen, but of course there's going to be a couple of effects there, I'd say. But instead of everybody having to take some brunt of something, only a couple, maybe. As you unleash this fireball in the middle of the room, and the first thing that happens is these ovoid pods, which are clearly some weird sort of alien eggs that were left here a millennia ago. Seems as if time has rendered them largely dormant, but with all the recent activity here, it's partially regenerated and warped these pods, making them create this strange fog you're having to deal with. As you explode the pods, the first thing is they start to squeeze out their innards. I'd say Cylindra, you can kind of see a good side of it, and Boric maybe a little, as you see dozens of these strange, partially formed tentacle creatures crawling out of the pods before they kind of wither and burn and fizzle and pop and die. And as this happens, you feel this just psychic assailing on your mind, Boric, from all these tiny little dying creatures. And if you'll make me a quick wisdom save with advantage, since you're not all up in the grill. Okay, and you feel like this would have really messed with your head as well as your body, as these things have just, it's almost like the burning fumes of their carcasses. But as always, you kind of duck your head and breathe through your hands or however you need to do it to avoid this. And then one last thing is that, of course, the gas ignites, and it just causes a ripple of the fire, which would stop probably a bit short of Lucian, I would say. But unfortunately, with Boric and Cylindra, you happen to be in a room filled with it or close enough with it that it's almost in a second. It just instantly ignites, traveling faster than your eye can process. But each of you two will have to make where is it at? A dexterity save. Sorry.
1.
And Slender, you should have +5 to that.
Okay, so Cylindra, it looks like you guys both actually will fail as you try to react as fast as you can, but I mean, this is like, we've all seen gas ignite. We all held the torch to our axe can and made a flamethrower. We know how this goes. As you'll take some fire damage. I'll just roll it out here. Could have been half if you saved, of course, but at this, it'll be 29 fire to both of you as you just are razed by this. However, the fog in that room now is completely cleared out, and you guys can move on and kind of slip into the next crack, as it were, without any kind of problems whatsoever. Good sacrifice, team.
Yeah. Slender, you should have most of that with the temp HP.
Yeah, I only took 8 real hit points.
Okay, and so without further ado, we will traipse on to the last chamber here underneath that you need to explore for now. And in this room, you find that the Dragonborn of Zorventroth were experimenting with some strange devices here. Somewhat unstable, as they were constantly tinkering with their projects, perhaps never truly perfected. But you come across a 5-foot tall metal platform in the center of a hexagonal room. There's a circular arrangement of metallic plates bearing strange flickering runes encircling a narrow, jagged portal. Chamber here is about 40 by 30, with stairs down one side. The narrow tunnel kind of dug into where you're coming from is down at the bottom, kind of snaking out of sight. There's 2 doors opposite of the stairs, and to the north, a 10-foot long hallway leads to a small set of stairs leading 5 feet up to some other room. Seems as if the only thing here to check really is the metal platform. And of course your Harpers kind of stop you there, and they're like, hey, I think that could really help us. That's most definitely a portal device. Could allow some teleportation or planar travel, and Tua in particular with her divining and magic properties. She's like, this could most certainly be used as a focus for a teleportation circle. If we could use this to bring our agents into Zorventroth unseen, it'd be a pretty significant advantage for the Harpers. We probably shouldn't destroy it, although I can see that gleam in your eyes. You guys have really enjoyed destroying the things here, which, hey, I mean, we did what must be done, but perhaps we should not do that here. But it could be worth taking a closer look at if anybody wants to confirm what I said. And I'll go ahead and jump you guys over to this to the right side of the map, or you guys can move yourselves around it as you would have came from the southeast little tunnel. And you can see that deeper on into the catacombs here, the Harpers are like, yeah, we're going to need to explore those areas too, but I think we've gone far enough. We need to report back what we found. We'll save that for another adventure, eh? So you...
Sorry. What's in the middle?
That's kind of this strange portal device. It's a metal contraption. Ancient wonder.
Is it on or is it not on?
You want to take a closer look at it, Lucian?
Yeah, I will look.
It explodes! Dexterity save! Ha ha ha! I'm just playing. No, this is an ancient wonder, apparently, bearing several rough, twisted metal plates. The hexagonal plate bearing the silver runes seems like anything, or seems unlike anything used in this day and age. The runes there kind of glow, but they flicker like a candle in the breeze. And attached to the plates is a strange clockwork wonder containing exquisite gears, rare metals, and enchanted minerals, including a charged Far Realm crystal flickering in time with the runes. A metallic box of copper tubes and wires connects this to the portal, perhaps offering some form of control over this strange magical device. Seems like understanding it might be a little bit beyond you right now, but anyone proficient in Arcana recognizes that the runes, when active, could definitely serve as a teleportation circle sigil sequence, which is a mouthful, and using the spell scroll of teleportation circle that was provided to you earlier would allow you to access this portal from outside the city and bypass the shield here. Seems like the Far Realm crystals, from what you've deduced along the way, clearly powers the runes, and as soon as it was used, it'd have to be recharged or replaced in some way. Again, you can see exits kind of leading out and fellow other ways, but it's not quite for now. You feel that sinister chill creeping in if you get a little too curious.
Turn on the portal.
So as you kind of look at the portal, all of a sudden it starts to flare into life, and the charge becomes extinguished in some fizzles and pops as this creature has clearly figured out how to worm its way into this portal from the other side, and it kind of slips through as you guys prepare to defend yourselves. However, it doesn't immediately attack, and then as you kind of watch in horror, a few of these large hulking creatures kind of shamble out around it.
I will try to talk to it.
You most certainly can. I'm going to move them around slightly as that was just read. So they all come out, and they certainly look menacing enough, although they do not move to attack yet. Hold on, there's one more here.
Sorry. And try to communicate with them.
Okay, 1 second.
Sorry.
No, you're good. I just gotta catch up. Some of you may recognize these creatures as you may have faced them in battle, or some of you may not, but they're clearly some giant hulking abominations that don't seem quite from this realm. And their leader seems to be like a very humanoid-like figure. It's wearing a mask and robes, and everything seems a little bit off, though, especially the designs in its robe and such. There are these intricate patterns that your mind has a hard time even grasping on, or you feel like you're not seeing it in its full fruition of what it could really indicate. It's just kind of like a jumbled sense of lines and things as your mind fumbles to accept what it could be. One thing you do notice, though, is instead of flesh, it almost seems to be just writhing worms and other little just bugs and creatures kind of making up. But despite that, it kind of, plops under the ground and then raises up and seems just as, bipedal and humanoid as any of you. And it kind of looks towards Lucian, and with a weird clicking, croaking voice that just seems like it's almost struggling to wrap its self around the sounds needed to make this language. It starts to kind of speak with you, and you have found my entryway.
Yep. We're here trying to base from the Red Wizards.
I have seen those you speak of, the red ones. They are of no interest or no matter to me. But perhaps we could assist one another. I am not here to fight. I just want the statues just beyond that door.
Oh, you mean the one... Oh.
I see that look on your face. What's wrong? The statues. You must have seen them when you came in. You couldn't miss them. May I have
they were destroyed when we arrived. If that's what you're referring
the Red
to.
Wizards must have... I will lie. The Red Wizards must have destroyed them.
Go ahead and roll me deception with advantage. I was going to give you because he's helping you with an 18. I sense you're worried. It doesn't matter. I can repair them, recharge them. If only I can take them back to my realm. It's unfortunate they were destroyed, but the components should fare me well.
That works. We have no problem in moving them away. They're harmful to us, but if they're useful to you, then... So as long as you don't bring them back here,
You can
that's
see,
your plan.
my friends here are very powerful, and I brought them here to help me transport them back. It's just fortuitous our fates have aligned this day. I'm sure you would like something in return from me. I have knowledge of this portal. I can teach you. I can teach you how to recharge the batteries. I can teach you how to operate the portal itself. If you bathe in the energy, you must hold an uncharged crystal in the open portal and bathe in the far realm's chaotic influence. If you can do that, that's a pretty easy way to recharge the crystal batteries. Just open up a little portal to my home. It's quite comfy there. There's all kinds of things that want to wrap you up tight and keep you cozy and warm. And you just stick your hand on in there and hope for the best. Might kind of mess with your head a little, as you know. Pull it on out and boom. I've heard there's another way, although would require the death of one of my own. And, well, as long as it's not me, I can't argue too
There's no
much.
need for that. I will, put my head in my arm or whatever through and see what's on the other side.
Oh, sure, just for fun, you could kind of peek in right before it closes up, and you could see just a horrific realm. I mean, your mind bends and warps as space and time becomes meaningless, and what you see is less what is actually there, and it's just it's not a true representation, and instead it's just whatever your feeble mind can concoct to try to understand what you're seeing. And unfortunately, as your brain starts to just pump out these formulas to comprehend, it ends up being tentacled monstrosities and all sorts of mind-bending terrain and things where you kind of pull your head back and just shudder a little. I guess as you do so, make me a wisdom saving throw.
I choose to fail.
You choose to fail?
Yes.
I guess just roll for me real quick just to see, I guess.
Okay.
It's a pretty high one anyways, but if you want to fail, I'll give it to you. Oh my gosh. As you are forever changed. Let me pull it up real quick because it doesn't have this one on here, but you will take a form of indefinite madness.
Indeed I will.
As you have witnessed things that hardly any mortals ever have, and it most certainly changes every single person whose mind has been opened to the fourth dimension and the possibilities within. Let me look up that indefinite madness table real quick. You rolled a 69. I got the table here.
Yep, I got it.
It looks like you will... Is that it? Huh.
Yep. These from I looked on roll 20, that's what it says.
It says, I'm the smartest, wisest, strongest, fastest, and most beautiful person I know. This is a flaw that your character now possesses. That's what it is. My bad. So until cured, it looks like greater restoration can cure it. Yeah. So of course you can always remove it in between. Yeah. So all of a sudden, Lucian, when you pull back, you feel like this new knowledge has made you better than everyone else, and you now gain the flaw. You add that to your sheet that no matter who you meet or what you're doing, you always think you're the smartest, wisest, strongest, fastest, most beautiful, most hung, and so on and so forth.
I got
And with this, the strange robed figure kind of turns back to you and says, I should make my leave, but I'll admit, I have a special interest in magic items from this plane. Well, I don't refuse to leave empty-handed, but I do have this very special belt. However, I would only be willing to trade it for something of a very rare or legendary value, as this is a very treasured and special item. Would anyone be willing to make this trade? So with
Sure.
Sure. I mean, I could draw up, unless someone has an actually useless item to them, then go ahead. Oh, there you go. A cool harp to play a song on.
And so that's a very rare item?
Yeah.
Yep, I got it from the last year's I did.
Okay, so you'll basically, for you in particular, Lucian, and I think everybody should give you a rousing hell yeah and thank you, because you unfortunately have to trade that item like you just traded it to somebody else. You don't have to exchange any downtime, but you're going to lose the harp now. But in turn, every single one of you gains the other magic item for this adventure, which I gotta say, it's hilarious. Yeah, so as long as you mark on your sheet what happened, and then everybody else, of course, you're gonna gain this as well as everybody else. As he kind of strips a belt off of his person and hands it over to you in exchange for the harp, and you could just see you could feel the excitement and whimsy kind of radiating from this unfathomable creature as it clicks and tuts in excitement and kind of disappears back into the portal with his minions there. And you in turn see a belt that translates to be a belt of stone giant strength, which of course everyone will get a copy of now at the end. It should pop up in my little magic items folder, but of course I'll pop it up to you. As you can see, that is made of dozens of writhing tentacles covered in blinking eyes. They wrap around your waist and frequently give you a little squeeze of their own accord. Of course, this makes your strength to 23. Unless you already have a belt of fire giant strength, which I think somebody does, then you may just end up trading this off to another guy.
I'll do it to someone else. I have fire giant.
I think that's the same for you too, right, Sledge? You got the
Heal, so a stone is actually an improvement for me.
Oh, okay, my bad. All right, there you go. So yeah, take one belt for the other, trade the one off to the next guy, whatever you got to do. But honestly, this is an awesome adventure because you get two really fucking good magic items, and also it was kind of optional to get either one, and but not for you fellows. You were on point, and you made friends with the Far Realm creature. That's something worth going home and telling the grandkids about. But as they exit and you've cleared all the rooms here, it seems like the only thing left to do is to further secure this area as a base. You might have to go into some of these other rooms, kind of branching off, not far enough to feel that sinister chill, but far enough to have to accomplish a few tasks. And we'll kind of mark which ones are successful. I would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tasks, and there's 5 of you. So I'll go over what they require briefly, and then we'll let each person volunteer for one, and then one of them, obviously, someone will be able to do another one, whoever is best for the situation, I suppose. But you need to hide the upstairs entrance. That'll take a stealth or survival a stealth or survival check. You need to obtain the portal sequence with the information that this Far Realm dude has given you, and your own ingenuity, which will take an Arcana check. You need to collapse the burrowed tunnel nearby. This leads somewhere else deeper into the dungeon, perhaps too dangerous to recover, and that'll take an athletics check to seal that off. You need to lock the doors. Seems as if the key is missing, but if you can do it with some thieves' tools, perhaps you won't need the key. And there's barricading some other doors, and the ones you lock, because every door that's locked should probably be barricaded for unexpected entry, and that'll take another athletics check for that. And last but certainly not least is hiding your tracks, because you've probably left some tracks in the snow and ice, honestly, all over this place, and so kind of doubling back and making sure that you do that. And you also have some extra measures, which is just if you've already done stuff already, and you already did, so you get an extra point here. It's kind of going to tally up for all your successes, but you removed the statues and destroyed the pods, so that already counts for 2 successes, and you guys didn't even have to try. So we'll take it from the top, and you guys can talk it out, of course, as we go. But who wants to hide the upstairs entrance? Must be hidden. The door of the Hall of Arcanus must be hidden from casual detection. That's what's going to take a stealth or survival check.
My bonus would be this much. If someone can beat me, then sure. I'm not hitting
Nope.
anything against, so I will
So,
proceed.
Yeah, you both.
And can someone with proficiency in stealth give me help?
you're all going to kind of disperse to your own tasks, but I think
Okay,
you
sure.
got it. You got it, and you can take 2 tries. If you fail the first one, you can take another attempt at it. But you don't need
Yes.
to, as you use your perception of stealth and what would be looked for to hide the signs of there being a door there. Cover it up with some debris, do what you need to do, and you succeed. And so we'll move on to obtaining the portal sequence. You're doing an Arcana check to obtain the sigil sequence. Actually, it looks like Lucian, since you made a deal with the portal sequence, you will automatically succeed on this, as he had taught you what to do, and you can still. There's 6 things, so you can still you'll be able to fill in that extra gap now. So you just automatically succeeded that one through your friendliness, and you tell everybody about how amazing you were for doing that, and how they're lucky to have you around. And no offense, they're pretty cool, but they're getting even cooler just by being in your presence, and those things. But further on down the way, someone needs to collapse this burrowed tunnel. That'll take an athletics check to completely seal it off.
Borg can try that.
Solandra, nice. You tell he got a little mad in the head from his... A 15 is just good enough. It seems like the DC for all these is kind of going to be 15. And so with a 15, Boric, you're able to... especially a dwarvish man like you would have extra expertise on collapsing this tunnel. No problems there. So far we're 3 for 3. So who wants to lock the doors? There's a set of doors from the portal room leading further into the dungeon. Like I said, the key is nowhere to be found, but with some thieves' tools and a dex check, you could do it.
I can give that one a shot.
Yeah, I'll give you guidance.
So I think we'll all kind of be on our own on this one. Not that it's...
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's okay. DC 15. And he got it, no problem. You are able to lock the doors with your thieves' tools, so you hear some clicks, pretty reassured. However, you are in agreement with everyone else that even though they're locked and they're all confident you did a fantastic job with that, someone should probably still barricade them. It would take an athletics check to do this. So I think we have Solandra and Lucian, is that right?
So I would check my apologies.
So we have an athletics, and then the very last one is a survival. So one of you can do the athletics, one of you can do the survival. We have Solandra.
I will do athletics.
Okay. So you go to barricade the doors, moving some stuff in the way, doing what you need to do, and you kind of feel yourself tiring out a little bit as you're trying to move these heavy rocks and things to... you feel like you got to keep at it a little more. You're not going to consider it quite a success if you want to try one more time.
Okay, can I ask my newfound friends to help?
So this is just you on your own, and it looks like
No worries.
you tell yourself, "Come on, Lucian, you're the smartest, bestest, fastest, strongest dude ever. Don't go out like this. I can't let them know anything different." And you muster up the inner strength that you now possess from your flaw and get the job done. And let's move to the last but certainly not least, Solandra. If you want to try to hide these tracks, kind of outside in the snow and ice, with the survival check.
I use my inspiration on this.
Okay. Beautiful. 22 most certainly does it. You erase any sign of your passage through this area, and with all those, that's more than successful. Basically, you guys, throughout this adventure, were always teetering on the edge of accruing a negative story award called They Suspects. And this was the last chance for you to become suspect, so to speak. But with you're securing the base and cleaning up all your tracks and doing everything you've done today here in the Zorventroth has been completely unnoticed by these Thays. Like you guys were ghosts, never here. And now you can use the magic scroll with the so here it is. If someone has the magic spell to cast to teleport you guys using that portal, you can do so, and then you can all keep the scroll at the end. Or you could just burn the scroll. Tua said she can do it, no problem, and that'll get you guys home. But no one will get it's a teleportation circle scroll. So you either have to use it or you can lose it, basically, or not lose it.
No matter what, we don't get keep it. Is that it?
If you guys have your own way of casting teleportation of some kind through this, basically, now that you have this portal, if you use your knowledge, it'll supersede the wards that are around you, so you can use it as a focus for the teleportation spell. You have a scroll of teleportation circle that was given to you in the beginning, and Tua, one of your Harper friends, can easily use it. Or if someone else can cast a spell of their own, then obviously you get to keep the scroll and everybody get a copy of it at the end. So I'm just...
Cool. I'll let you.
Does anyone have a way to teleport?
Nope.
Yes, the Battlemaster teleportation circle maneuver. I'm gonna do it.
Okay, so no worries. She steps forward and she's like, "Good. I know we've helped you with some information here, and it's really fun being a part of the team with you guys. And I don't mind doing this as one last effort to get us back home." And she crumbles the scroll to dust as she reads and expends the magic, and you guys are transported back to Remy and Zahira back in Waterdeep. You will gain some story rewards and other things we'll go through in just a moment. But of course, Remy is surprised to see you suddenly appear in her study, but is most pleased at your progress. "I can only assume by your arrival that it means you were successful." And she sees the state of you, all kind of grimy and besmudged, a crazed look in Lucian's eyes. She kind of shudders herself. "I'm so sorry we had to do this. I know being around these foul things always is going to take its toll, but you were hired for a reason, and you were most successful, it looks. I can't wait to hear the full report." And if anybody has anything they want to say before we conclude, or role play out as characters, or however, feel free to do that now. We're finishing exactly on time, so that's pretty spectacular. And then I will go through the rewards. Of course, I'll post that session log, and we'll call it a day. It's a pretty fun one.
Thanks for running, Telly.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I really like this one. I think this is the one I could run again too and do a little more justice for. And the more you do, obviously the more you read them, the more you do them, the better you get at them and stuff. But this one, I feel like the more I would kind of submerge myself in it, that it could be really fun to keep.
I really appreciate you running this for me.
Yeah, man, thank you. I know it's really, this honestly is my favorite part about our little program there for that, is just that we're getting to play and run things that we normally wouldn't. And I've always eyed this season, or whatever you want to call it, the DRW stuff. It seems so cool, and this is my first time doing anything in it, so I appreciate you, man.
I've played this once before, so I was like, "Yay, let's get the Indefinite Madness again, please, a different character."
I'll stick my head in there.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's go ahead and tally it up. Of course, definitely, I mean, there ain't not much more I can do other than give you another rousing thanks, I guess, in a sense. But for Lucian making the sacrifice, the harp for the belt, I mean, that was very awesome of you, dude.
Thanks, I have another one in my character, so it's fine.
Very cool still, though. And so there's a few things for rewards. Of course, there's always going to be your 10 downtime and your optional level if you want it. And there also will be 10, 20, 30... Oh, where this? Oh, you also can, let me see, I think I might have glanced over. You can harvest some spare metals around the portal worth 20,000 more gold. So it totals out to be, let me double check one more time, but I'm thinking 10, 20, 50,000 So if all right, Lucian, no problem. If you're not gone yet, I'll put the session log. You'll see how much gold and stuff there. But 50,000.
1,000 per.
We had 5, right?
Yeah.
So 10,000 each.
Wait, hold on. It was 50k.
Yeah, 50,000 gold.
Okay.
So
And 5 of.
10,000 each, right? Just a straight divide. There's 5.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Keeps it easy. So 10 downtime. You got the optional level. 10,000 gold each. So you're officially rich. You also got the belt of stone giant strength. You got the bracers of defense. And looks like there was a potion of vitality that was given to you guys, which is a pretty cool one. Definitely for them exhaustion giving moments. Looks like you have a spell scroll of sending that you guys didn't really need to use in the end.
Well, that's how we contact the arbors in the end.
You didn't really have to. You didn't end up using that, really. You guys just used the teleportation one and just zip back to him. I guess, like, if... Yeah, I mean...
That's cool.
Yeah, y'all didn't really use it. You kind of just went back blind and to give your full report back, but it's fine. Maybe I could have pushed y'all to use that a little more, but oh well. Now you have a spell scroll with it. So you got the spell scroll of sending, the potion of vitality, the other things we mentioned, stone giant, bracer of defense, and we have some story awards. You all gain the bond of fellowship. So if you didn't have it coming into this, all you needed is for one of you to have it, and then now everybody else has it as you have grown a little bit closer to your sidekicks there. I know we didn't really use them too much in this adventure, but it's pretty low on combat, so I knew y'all didn't really need any help with that. And then it's, we gotta make everything fit in the time restraint and everything. So, if it was a weaker party or something, I would have totally suggested we use them. But clearly, I don't think this adventure really required those at all. But I don't know how the other ones work, so if they might be a little more necessary. So you get the Bond of Fellowship. You do not get the Thay Suspects. Very good. And the last thing you get is called Zorventroth Base Security. And let me get the readout on that one. So this is one where it's like, how many things did you do? And you guys did all of them. So I'll make a point to include them all in the session log, of course, but it looks like you secured the hidden base against discovery by the Thayans and against being breached by any wandering dangers. You did the minimum prep, of course, but you also removed or destroyed the statues. You gave the statues to the Star Spawn. So you kind of got both of those in one. You destroyed them and then you gave them to him, which was actually something you could do in the module and everything. So you got both of those, and then destroyed the fog generating pods. You destroyed those as well. So all 3 of those you'll get. I'll include all that in the session log so it's a little easier to copy and paste. So you had 2 story awards, the regular stuff, and I believe that's it for today.
See you some other day. I gotta go.
All right, man. It was good having you. Thanks for playing, y'all.
Awesome. Thanks.